All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another Green Square Talks Battlebots podcast. So we got a pretty big group here. We got BBBN, Civ, Blaze, Smurf. Then Derin makes his return to the podcast. Alex Price makes her return to the podcast as well. Hello, Liz. How's it going, everybody?
Wonderfully.
Meeting like four.
I'm smoking that pack.
Smoking that BBBN pack, classic.
Exactly.
Gotta love that BBBN pack.
Gotta live for it, man.
So yeah, this podcast is going to feature our review of episode 4, where we're going to go over all 7 fights one by one, share some of our thoughts, opinions, and some info we found about it, obviously. And this is our first builder interview for an episode review podcast. So we got Alex from Horizon on here, and definitely one of the rookies I've been pretty hyped for coming to this season, and we got to see its first fight in the recent episode. So. Yeah, looking forward to seeing the other 3 and any fights following that. So, all right. So, before we get to talk about the first fight, there will be spoilers in this. Obviously, if I hadn't hinted at it already.
What?
So, if you haven't, yeah, Blaze, hasn't seen the full episode yet. You've only seen the fights.
I haven't seen the full episode, but I've seen all the fights.
Yeah. But. Yeah, simply, if you haven't seen the episode yet, or haven't at least seen the fights of it, definitely check out the fights before coming here, unless if you want all the results spoiled. So, anyway, let's go ahead.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about.
People want that.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, there were people that were cheating in the King of Draft fantasy competition by using leaks in order to draft their team. It was funny how much that backfired, because there was somebody who got the bracket leak from last season and only the first round, and he drafted a bunch of the high seeds, and most of those high seeds lost in the first round. So
that's hilarious.
Oh yes, that was
like you drafted Ribbon and shit. That's funny.
Yeah. I think most of them were actually second rounds, because I know he had Hypershock and Copperhead, but it was still funny. It was still funny regardless, though. So.
Oh no!
Well, we did learn one thing out of that whole debacle, is that TCC's Porynog loves Bloodsport.
That's true. TCC's Porynog loves Bloodsport. Anyway, let's go.
I won last season, so I mean, I won the one league that I was in, so we'll take that.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about the first fight then.
I quickly want to mention one thing.
What you got?
Cold open to this episode was brilliant.
Hilarious.
Yes, hilarious. I was gonna talk about that, but there's one thing I would have changed about it. Where was Shaman in that? I'm surprised they didn't use either. I'm surprised they didn't use at least one of either Nightmare hitting Shaman or Witch Doctor's the main bot blowing up Shaman. And
what about Nightmare hitting the Warrior Dragon?
Or that too. That's another good one.
They're all stuck in ABC, honey.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder where were the ABC moments. Well, they did include Bombshell knocking out Poison Arrow's drone, but
yes, the one that he bought.
Also, the Spitfire getting eaten up by the screws.
That too. I was thinking about that, but regardless, that was a great opener, and I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they did things a little differently than previously.
Our cold opens, dang it, those are wonderful.
Yeah.
They should bring those back.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of openers we're gonna get starting in the future, but
I'm adopting a little mini bot, that's for sure. There's no shot. They're so hopeless.
Yeah.
My mini bot appreciated the representation.
Sure to do your part.
Well, anyway, let's talk about this first fight then. Where the episode led off with 2 pretty big names. We got, and 2 international teams too. The return of Black Dragon, who's been in every single season since they debuted in 2019, back with that vertical spinner. Then we finally got the long-awaited return of Monsoon, who we haven't seen since 2019 due to pandemic reasons, and great to see it back, and they sure came out swinging in this one, as did Black Dragon, but mostly in the second half of the match. So yeah, I'll go ahead and leave the floor to y'all. What do y'all got to share about this one then?
I have one thing to say.
What's
I can't say it. I don't want to yell. I
yeah,
was gonna yell
not yeah, not
You can just do it quietly.
as I mean not everybody can be
Rude.
like Tim Rackley.
Yeah,
I don't want to yell at
you
yo because my older brother just went upstairs like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, just
You don't
just
wanna
grab a
wake him
grab a megaphone and just go into his room.
I don't have a megaphone.
For me. Have an air.
Just whisper it deeply into your mic.
That too. You know, that always gets the job done.
Can't do that because my mic's like not working right now.
I like it.
Alright,
No.
okay. Let's kick it off with some of the talkie.
Yes.
Okay.
So
This was a really entertaining fight. It was one of the fights where, you know, I'm content with what actually happened in the fight, but I wish like the fight kept on lasting like a lot longer because there would have been so many more like huge shots and big hits during the entire fight. But you know, I picked Black Dragon because I mean, Monsoon hasn't competed since 2019, and we've gotten a very strong like different range from the 2019 bots that are returning this year. We've had far, and then we've had Death, which was Monsoon. It got a lot of big hits, but then it had some gremlins.
Yeah.
Once their weapon went down.
Technically, that wasn't exactly a gremlin for why their weapon went down, but yeah, I might as well mention this
Using
now.
the
Then
Yeah, go right ahead.
yeah, because Monsoon came out with a video recently that basically their robot they accidentally sucked up a bolt that they believe was one of the bolts holding in one of Black Dragon's wedgelets, and that basically killed their motors and killed the weapon. So yeah, I'm sure that's what they're.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
So it's
That
not
is
even
so
their fault
unlucky.
then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's incredibly unlucky because like they were getting some of the best hits in that match.
Yeah. Like I think
they were on top for pretty much a good portion of that match, and then like once the weapon went down, it was just sort of
what do you do?
Oh no.
Oh no.
I know, Derin, you had something you wanted to mention?
I was going to mention the same thing. Yeah, the bolt. That's just incredibly unlucky. Which really goes to show that there's quite a bit of luck in this sport. It just sometimes things just happen. Like a bolt could just get sucked into your weapon and just kill it. You can't plan for that unless you just can't plan for that. Things just happen, man. Monsoon was winning until they just weren't.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy.
that is in fact Monsoon's fights in a nutshell, though.
Yeah, but yeah, like it's crazy because like Monsoon, like apparently they were that close to getting to the other drive motor on Black Dragon and actually killing that thing, and because
Impossible.
yeah.
Also, I kind of just
No way.
this is kind of just a side note on the entire fight. I like how BattleBots is now doing all these like Hall of Fame stats, like least knocked out robot, like you got the Bite Force and Black Dragon, and I hope they keep like utilizing that because
oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
very solid because it like legitimizes it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a real sport or something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
BattleBots
it's
is a
almost like
wait,
that or
what?
something.
I thought BattleBots was
a real sport. What? Man, I feel
crazy.
I mean, it's scripted, like a lot of people in the BattleBots community think. So, is it?
The sports community thinks that.
You'd be very surprised.
Oh my goodness.
Facebook.
Oh, like
I don't know how
Oh,
you
like that
could
whole-
script like golf or something.
Literally, I'm not sure how you can script some of that stuff, but
No, every single freaking like sports fan base thinks that the sports are scripted.
I don't think
No,
anyone has
that's
enough
stupid.
patience to script golf, so that's the
Especially the
Yeah.
NFL. Especially the NFL. There's a
yeah,
bunch of conspiracy theories. So that's when you're a legitimate sport, is when people think it's scripted. The
That is
BattleBots
true.
is
And
officially a
so
sport
that
because
means
people
that
think it's
BattleBots is
scripted.
no way. Whoa. So golf's
It's
not a
standard,
legitimate
holy
sport because
shit.
no one watches it.
yeah. But anyway, kind of like to finish talking about this fight. Then I gotta give Gabriel Bertozzi, who we haven't seen driving Black Dragon since 2019, a lot of credit for how well he drove that
Oh,
fight,
yeah.
even with only one side drive. Like, yeah, he definitely, like, he might not have had the sticks for Black Dragon since 2019, but that was a very impressive driving performance from him, and he definitely got the job done very well. And got to comment that Mono is even more adorable this year than he has been previous years with that sword and everything. And
So cute.
yes,
They're like
so
Well, Mono
two
is just
teams with
adorable,
swords.
period.
yeah. No, 3 actually. There's Overhaul, there's Scorpios,
Banshee.
That's right.
And-
I forgot about the overhaul sword.
Shatter technically as well. You could kind of count the Mary Special as a sword. And then
That's
We have,
true.
like,
Banshee has a sword.
oh yeah,
Sword
Banshee does too. I don't know if that
Yeah,
one's an
Overhaul.
actual one, but yeah.
I think it is.
Fingers crossed, because I was talking with somebody in the Out of the Arena Discord server that we got a chair fight last season. We need a sword fight this year, and we were talking about who we think should be in that one. I know we agreed upon that Scorpios, Overhaul, and Shatter should all be in it, but then I think we were going back and forth on who the last one should be, but. Yeah, but then back to this. So, yeah, Black Dragon managed to get the knockout, getting Monsoon stuck on its weapon. And we see for their next opponents, Black Dragon's got Quantum for their next fight, which that's going to be a tough opponent for them because Quantum's been on fire this season. And Monsoon taking on Horizon next time.
Yeah, that's us.
We'll wait on Monsoon and Horizon. We'll wait to talk about that one until we get to Horizon's fight from this episode. But what's everyone's thoughts on Black Dragon and Quantum for the upcoming
Why
episode?
does Black Dragon fight like every single British team, minus Cobalt?
I don't know.
Wait a
International
wait,
fights, man.
Does Black Dragon fight every single non-spinner?
Quantum, Beta, and Riptide. Like, they were so close. They could have
Well,
just given
Riptide's
one
not a
award.
British team.
Yeah, no, but they faced like 3 British
Yeah.
teams in a row.
Yeah, your point still stands, though. They probably
could've
just want
him-
the international battles or something.
Yeah, I mean, they
But-
could have just given them Cobalt, and then that would be the full British.
I mean, let's
Set.
be real here. Monsoon beat whatever and Cobalt. That's a tough schedule.
Oh yeah,
That is a tough schedule. One that Black Dragon could handle.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
Black Dragon,
nothing
yeah.
to scoff at for sure.
yeah,
Black Dragon
Yeah.
is Black Dragon,
yeah,
I think.
yeah. So
Yeah, it is Black Dragon.
That's true.
I know.
I don't
How'd you
think it's
know?
changed.
Crazy.
probably
So
not
I'll say a
not
hot
too
take
much.
here. I'm gonna
Actually, no, that's Red Devil, I think.
That's true.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Sid,
I'm
what's your
sorry.
hot take?
I was getting them mixed up.
I think if
It happens.
I think if Quantum can get under Black Dragon, I think it has a good shot at doing some good damage because, we saw like Overhaul fight Black Dragon, and if you see like Overhaul doing its grappling stuff, it is doing damage to Black Dragon's bottom panel, and like Quantum's probably
Bottom.
Absolutely.
more powerful than Overhaul, so that should be like much more dangerous for Black Dragon. But the ground game is also a gremlin, which like the bots we've seen Quantum face so far haven't really been like the most ground game noteworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my thoughts on this. This is a big test for honestly both robots because like Quantum, even though they are undefeated right now, which we'll talk about their second fight upcoming, I feel their strength of schedule just hasn't been there so far yet. Black Dragon is definitely a big name for them to take on, at least, and definitely a very high-tiered opponent compared to some of their other opponents in the past, a tougher one. So, but I think Quantum definitely has the power, if they could get to any of those juicy areas, to possibly finish the job that Monsoon, who was so close to doing in this one. Black Dragon is going to need to win the ground game on this one, and they're not going to need to lose. And they're going to hopefully they don't lose drive motor or in that fight, because that could very well be the end of them very quickly. So
I think with how aggressively Quantum's been driving this season so far, they're definitely going to have to put on something more of a full-on driving clinic in order to really get Quantum in a place where they feel uncomfortable.
yeah,
Because at the moment, Quantum has kind of been unflappable when it comes to driving people around in a similar way to Claw Viper.
Yeah, I suspect we're gonna see a really aggressive driving performance from both teams, because that's kind of their driving style, and definitely that's gonna be a good fight. So,
It'll be very fun to watch.
anything else on that, or should we get to fight number 2? Oh, Civ, what you got?
One quick thing. No, this is BBBN. I think one quick thing. The winner of Black Dragon Quantum legitimizes the fact that they can make a deep playoff, like a deep playoff push, like getting a top seed. Because if you are Black Dragon, you beat Quantum. Quantum coming up to that point has been red hot, and like has had really impressive fights, and you know, beating someone with that, like that's very impressive. And then if Quantum wins that fight, then the steam train keeps on rolling, and it beat a robot that has pretty solid ground game, and it beat a robot that has a pretty good spinning weapon.
Yeah,
So either way, when you look at this fight, it's going to legitimize them being a top seed.
absolutely.
Hello, hi, Captain Mantine.
Hey, Mantine.
Hello, boys.
Hello.
And girl.
Yeah. Civ,
And girl. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
oh, get ready for this. What Mantine's got coming.
Yes.
I also just really quickly wanted to mention Monsoon just before we move on. Monsoon of the returning bots, they seem to, Bolt notwithstanding, they seem to have the least teething issues at the moment, next to like Quantum, of course.
But, oh yeah.
They looked just as dangerous, if not more so, than their season 3 run.
Absolutely.
That put them on the map. And I really think even through this loss, they're definitely a team to watch.
Absolutely.
Moving forward.
Yeah, because like as I mentioned before, like it's crazy. Like what would have happened if Monsoon if the Bolt thing didn't happen to Monsoon right there, because Monsoon was definitely mopping the floor with Black Dragon up until that moment. So yeah, even though this was a loss, that was definitely a statement for Monsoon. They don't want to underestimate that robot. So yeah, Civ, I think you had something you were wanting to say for a little while. Maybe.
No.
Oh.
No.
Mantine, you got
getting me and Civ confused.
Mantine, you got anything you want to talk about?
It was a pretty good fight. It's a shame that Monsoon got the bolt stuck in kind of just shredded its whole thing with the bolt. That's really unfortunate for them. Definitely showing a lot of promise. Black Dragon, on the other hand, their weapon seems to be more reliable and more potent than it has been in past seasons, which is nice. It held up to Monsoon's hits pretty well considering the quality of the hits that Mantine is dishing out. And I think both of these robots have bright futures ahead. Black Dragon might have some trouble with Quantum, I want to say. It all depends really on who gets under the other one first. If Black Dragon bends up that wedge, Quantum's going to get mauled. And if Quantum gets one good bite on Black Dragon, Lord knows what'll happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I feel Black Dragon's like one robot where it's like the perfect size for Quantum to get a bite on, which is why I seriously think Quantum's fight with Emulsifier coming for their fourth fight is harder than Black Dragon, in my opinion. But
yeah, no, I feel you.
Anyway,
I think,
speaking of Emulsifier, let's get to that next fight.
No.
This fight was so sad.
Yeah. This fight a combination of sadness and madness right there. No rhyme intended right there. But
can I go first?
Go ahead.
You're stealing Blaze's buns.
Okay, so this was the fight I think I was the most confident in. I picked the Emulsifiers straight up because no question, I thought they would win. And I watched the fight. They're killing it. They're launching them into the sky. They're taking hits. They're trading hits. Malice gets his frame freaking destroyed, and I'm like, yes. I lost my first prediction. I'm headed for 6-1, baby. And then the Emulsifier it gets up from being on its back. It lands. Something gets stuck to one of its magnets. And so now it's high-centered, and it high-centers itself off the floor.
Yep.
It's just...
Yeah, yeah. So one of their magnets got caught on some debris, which high-centered one of its treads. So
yeah, and then the other tread wasn't working for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was sad.
To Emulsifier's credit, sorry.
You go ahead.
Continue. I'm done. I'm just gonna cry.
To Emulsifier's credit, you know that bit of Malice that was like peeled up?
Yep.
Yeah.
David Rush actually told me that that wasn't directly hit by Emulsifier. It was like the energy that was transferred through the robot caused that.
Really?
Like
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
It peeled up because of how hard that hit was. If I'm not mistaken, if anybody from Malice is listening, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But like, that's what I remember. Which, you know, fair friggin' play to Emulsifier. They hit like a truck. You know, even in 30 pounds, they hit like a truck. Even during the fusion fight, they hit like a truck.
Yeah, because like literally that top piece of fusion looked like it was very close to coming off after those first few hits that Emulsifier managed to land on it, and yeah, so.
I was also actually in the arena for this fight because some of us are allowed to just kind of chill in the arena and watch fights if we want. And the atmosphere in the arena after this fight was kind of confused. I know I was a little bit confused, like who was counted out there? Was that Malice or was that Emulsifier? It looked to me like, you know, Emulsifier was having, you know, electrical or some issues. I had no idea that, you know, it was a magnet that had, you know, that they had gotten like high centered on something, because if I'm remembering correctly, I wasn't seeing the tracks moving. They just stopped.
Yeah, one of their treads was moving. I didn't see movement from the other one, at least. So it's possible they might have lost drive on one side or something. But that one that's closest to like the camera in that picture was indeed moving near the end of that fight. But
right,
we got because I know a few of us are in a Battlebots group chat on Instagram, and Bunny actually told us that, and because apparently emulsifier was actually working just fine when they put it in the test box after this fight. So yeah, it's crazy enough that something like that occurred. But yeah, I'll give credit.
I like that sometimes.
I'll give a lot of credit to Malice because even though it took that much damage, the weapon was still working. Apparently, both sides of drive were both still going. It's just the peeled up piece of frame was high centering them on one side. But regardless, that was madness of a fight, and so
Crazy fight.
yeah, BBBN, Blaze, Civ, I think Mantine as well. You four want to share thoughts on this one?
I don't have a lot to say that I already didn't say in my podcast, so I'll let other people take the floor.
Absolutely.
Subscribe to BBBN podcast.
Wow,
Yeah.
that self-promotion was
Shameless
scandalous.
self-promotion. We love it.
Shameless plug. I don't give a shit.
Shameless plug.
This fight was probably the saddest case of random ass death that I've seen in a while. I mean, Emulsifier was stomping Malice for a good 20 seconds. I mean, and it was only getting worse until it got flipped over. But I mean, it was really sad. I don't think I've seen that much damage in that short amount of time in a long time.
Oh yeah.
And I really hope that Emulsifier can get this worked out, because it's clear that they work pretty well, obviously, especially for a first-time heavyweight. I mean, I know it's 30-pounder, and it's been, well, not first time, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
the Shatter team, not the first time that they've done Emulsifier this heavy, and I hope they can at least show their full potential in their next match, because I don't want to see them go 0-4. It'd really break my heart to see Emulsifier go 0-4 after having two very stellar matchups in a row with rather unfortunate ends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess it's my turn. I was gonna make a pun, but I forgot what Malice meant, so I had to look it up, and it doesn't make sense for this fight. So I'm sad.
Of course.
That is very sad.
Sucks to suck, I guess.
Truly. Well,
One small violin,
Again, how do you
the
know?
world's smallest.
It sounds like the emulsifiers here lost to me.
Yeah. Yeah. What I will say is, even though Emulsifier is 0-2, I would say both those losses were good losses, at least, because like like Mantine said, Emulsifier is really showing what that thing can do, and that thing can really land some devastating shots right there. But before we start talking about their next opponents, I want to bring up Battlebots community. Why so much hate for this one? At least because oh my gosh, the Facebook group just erupted with negative comments about this fight, and I heard the Reddit community also erupted and stuff. But I first want to address, at least, because the most common thing I was seeing was that people were thinking Malice should have been counted out before Emulsifier did. Basically,
Well,
Malice
Malice
was
was
moving.
moving.
Oh yeah.
He's moving.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
rules now.
Yeah.
There's rules
Basically,
about this now.
Rules.
And
yeah.
people complained in
Rules
the
are
past
pretty
about
cool.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm going to say right here is
Community.
what I'm going to say right here is it was the right call to call out count out Emulsifier like that right there, and because the Battlebots rules state, I'll link the Greg Munson podcast we did earlier in the description, because he explains lots of those rule changes. One of them being the movement rules very well. Basically, any form of movement is movement, and Malice was showing movement. Emulsifier was not. What I'm really happy about is the fact that the rules they're at least being consistent this year with that. That was my big problem with lots of the controlled movement rules from last season. There were so many inconsistencies. That has not been the case so far. That has not been the case so far this season. It's actually been very consistent. So, and whoever that was that was begging to Battlebots to not accept Malice next season just because of their first two fights so far.
Malice is great.
Yeah, that crossed the line right there. Like some people put their hearts and souls into these machines. Like I'm sure with Alex right there, I'm sure she and the rest of the team Horizon put their heart and souls into that robot. Like,
yeah. Here's the thing about this is that they've made it clear that this rule exists. Like Chris and Kenny have talked about this rule multiple times in the past episodes.
Oh yeah.
And right when this rule benefits a bot that like the community doesn't like for whatever reason, they go batshit insane.
Yes.
But when I think it was Witch Doctor Ribot, like Ribot was crab walking at some point, and Witch Doctor had to.
Yeah, it was Hydra Witch Doctor.
Hydra Ribot, wasn't it?
Oh, Hydra Ribot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, they. I don't really think they were paying attention that much.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I get that people may not like that rule, but basically movement is. Yeah, Munson even talked about this as well in that podcast. He mentioned this with that rule as well as the rules on unsticking this year. They're kind of like a no-win situation, basically. There's some flaw that you just like can't fix, no matter which set of rules you go, no matter which option for the set of rules you go with for this one. Like there are bound to be flaws, and he even mentioned that his one concern when Marco from Minotaur brought up that those movement rules are what they do with their competitions in Brazil, that he was worried that his one concern was basically what happens if both robots are injured, which we have here. But regardless, though, I still support this rule because like my big problem with the movement rules in the past have been the consistency, and they're definitely following those for this season. Basically promoting that they're a lot more consistent this year.
I will say I get it.
Yes.
I get why people are upset, but at the same time, the fact that this was an unfortunate situation does not warrant all of the backlash that this rule has got. I mean, overall, it's a good change. You know, there's finally consistency. That the lawless land has become somewhat governed, and I mean, I get it. Emulsifier is doing really well. A very unfortunate thing occurred, and you know, I don't think that people should be hating on it as much as they are. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I get it. It's frustrating. You know, to see a bot.
It's not like Malice randomly died. It's like it was a fully functioning robot in both of its fights.
Yeah. And the hate for Malice is completely unwarranted. I don't know why people are so dead set on fucking hating Malice. I mean, I can get, you can dislike whoever the fuck you want. I don't care. You can dislike a robot, you can like a robot, but going out of your way to just like plague an entire website with like, don't fucking let Malice back in. Fuck Malice. I don't get it. I don't get that.
Yeah,
that
literally.
Has always bugged me when people go that far, and I think that even if this is an unfortunate scenario, it doesn't discredit the rule at all. It's still a good rule, and people need to chill the fuck out. You know what I mean?
It's like basically a repeat of Hydra Tantrum when the community just erupted after that fight. Yeah.
I might need to smoke a little bit or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, should we talk about their next opponents? So we know that Emulsifier is going to take on Banshee for their next fight, a battle of newcomers. Two newcomers that really got my attention for this season. And Malice has a battle with Valkyrie coming for their next fight. And what are our thoughts on those matchups?
I personally think that Emulsifier. I don't know. Does anybody know if Emulsifier has a fork set up, or is it just the wedge?
It does. I believe they mentioned in a Bots FC video thing they do.
Okay. Well, if Emulsifier has forks, I have a very strong feeling that it will not struggle very much with Banshee. Banshee got a couple good flicks on Switchback. It showed some promise, but I mean, if Emulsifier can stay working and still deliver those same brutal hits, I feel like it should tear through Banshee pretty easily. As for Malice, I don't know about Malice Valkyrie. Malice has had a couple reliability issues, and I think if it goes up against the big horizontal, it may struggle a little bit. So it's all really dependent on if Malice can, keep their keep their wits about them and not struggle too much in the reliability game. But both of these robots definitely have a good chance of winning this, barring any craziness.
Oh yeah.
One thing I wanted to point out is the next two opponents for both of these robots are going to be fighting each other.
That was something
for
I
their
was going to
second
mention.
fight.
Yep.
And I personally am going to withhold my thoughts on their next these robots' next opponents, because really these are some of the first robots that we're seeing like the second fights of.
Yep.
And so it's hard to judge how their opponent is going to do when we haven't seen like their second fight.
Absolutely.
Especially when like you don't know if Banshee could have like gotten its issues figured out, or if Valkyrie like explodes or something. It's
yeah, it's
for
tricky
me,
to judge.
For me that's tricky to judge. I know if I were to say anything, I would probably say like it's gonna be a interesting fight for Emulsifier and for Malice. It's two really big horizontal spinners going up against each other. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. Who's next? Want to talk about those matchups?
My worry. Okay. I'll say this really quick. I think Emulsifier. This should be an easy win for Emulsifier because I think Banshee is pretty mid, all things considered.
Just like your takes.
Damn.
Just like my takes, exactly. We roll with the punches. Whatever. And then Valkyrie and Malice. I'm afraid about Malice's chances here, because I'm afraid like Valkyrie might just be able to hit Malice like reach wise. I think Valkyrie has more reach than Malice, so Valkyrie may be able to hit Malice before Malice hits Valkyrie. That's like my major concern for that fight. And I'll let someone else start talking.
Okay.
I'll refrain from Banshee versus Emulsifier, but Valkyrie versus Malice. My thing with this fight is that Valkyrie probably has more reach, but Malice can hit a more crippling part of Valkyrie. Like, Malice can hit the frame of Valkyrie, while Valkyrie kind of just hits the weapon holder, and if the weapon holder just, like, hangs alright, then there's nothing I see Valkyrie doing in this scenario. I think Malice has a better shot at hitting front, not a better shot, but I think it has more shots to get, like, crippling pieces of Valkyrie off and take it out there. I'm also wondering if they have a horizontal configuration for those forks. I wouldn't know, but
I would predict they go. I would predict they go with a different. They would go with one of their heavier spinners. I bet that we could see Big Red in that fight.
yeah, they might ditch the forks and go for like a big ass spinner.
Oh yeah, I think they definitely ditched the forks for that fight, because they would only just get shredded by Valkyrie. I think if they use them there.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm cautiously leaning Malice here.
Derin, you want to talk about these matchups? So I don't think you've gotten a chance.
All right, let's see here. For Emulsifier, I expect them to win their next fight against Banshee because, well, I'm not really proven by Banshee yet, to be honest. It's kind of in its first fight. Malice Valkyrie, I think if Valkyrie's weapon actually works for like more than a minute, I think they'll win that fight. Expect them like to get in, probably get into that giant hole that where Malice's weapon is. It hit something, and just eventually whittle him down. Death by a thousand cuts style.
Absolutely.
Just win.
Blaze, you got stuff you want to talk about?
Okay, so Most Fire versus Banshee, I feel like is a toss up. Depending, it's all going to be on ground game. If Fire has a ground game, Fire is probably going to win. But if Banshee has a ground game, then Banshee's probably going to win.
Gotcha.
And Malice is going to beat Valkyrie because, well, Valkyrie's going to go 1-3 this season.
Yeah.
Because they beat my favorite robot.
Fair. My takes on this, Emulsifier and Banshee. As of right now, I'd be going to Emulsifier because I think Emulsifier is going to be absolutely out for blood this fight. They've had 2 good wins so far, 2 pretty statement two pretty statement losses at least, and but it's going to depend a lot on how Banshee came back from that first fight of Switchback. Because like in episode 6, so not next episode but the following one, we get to see Banshee versus Valkyrie, and that'll be an exciting fight, and we'll see how well Banshee was able to come back and fix the Kingston Gremlins after the Switchback fight. But that should be a good matchup. As for Malice and Valkyrie, that's a toss-up. I think that could go either way. I think it's going to depend on who breaks the other first, as for who wins that fight. I think I'm going to lean towards Malice on this fight because I would consider Malice to be the more reliable robot between the 2 of them, but that seriously could go either way. So, yeah. Anything else, or should we get to fight number 3? Fight number 3.
Fight number 3.
Trace.
This one. Oh.
This fight. I gotta admit, I think I'm not the only. I think I'm not the only one here who overestimated the height of Star Child, because this outcome I did not see this coming one bit.
Well, Kenny and Chris also overestimated the height of
Yeah.
Star Child, so
Everyone overestimated the height of Star Child.
Yeah, but
Height? Oh,
I just got. I'm gonna be completely honest right here. This was actually my favorite fight of the whole episode, right there.
This fight
that was incredible, right there, and
it's kind of a basic pick.
It literally was, and I want to hear from Civ first, since I'm betting Civ probably saw this fight live. Maybe I want to hear from you at least if you've seen this one.
Okay, so you know when you're watching this live in front of a full audience in the Battlebots, you're thinking 2 things really. Is you're thinking, 1, okay, how's Overhaul gonna get a hold of this, and 2, how's this weapon thing gonna work? We got the silliest answer possible by Overhaul getting all these funny suplexes on a large thwacking robot. And everyone just loved it. Everyone ate that shit up. And it was just a really fun fight to watch live.
Absolutely. It was a fun fight to watch on TV, too.
Why couldn't people have talked about this fight and not the previous fight, man? This fight was great.
Oh, yeah. This fight was incredible.
Because everyone wants to complain about, Battlebots is bad.
Well, everyone in sports like to complain
Rules
about
are bad.
Why do you watch it if it's bad?
Yeah.
Because shut up.
A Battlebot should be a lawless land.
Literally.
The wild fucking west of robot combat Battlebots.
Strap a gun to it!
No, let's normal have it.
Finally, Double Jeopardy's domain. Duels.
Oh my gosh.
Now we're fucking cooking.
Let him cook! Let him cook!
Let him cook.
There exists a video online of the Mammoth team testing guns on various armor for robots.
Mammoth Ranch.
Mammoth Ranch.
Yes.
Yes, the Mammoth Ranch.
Yeah,
Damn
the
ranch.
video.
Link in the description.
It is glorious. I will actually. Hold on.
18 shotguns
Have it.
in Mam Ranch.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Alright. Green, put the link in the description over my channel. Okay, do it.
to the Mammoth Ranch thing or something.
Mammoth Ranch. Do it. All right,
Fair.
do it, you coward.
No, man, Ranch. Don't do it.
Mammoth.
Do it.
Don't do that.
Well, back to
bonus points. Never mind.
18 deceased robots out in the yard.
Bonus points if you get who they're
Oh, no.
referencing.
oh my
No,
gosh.
No, no
my
bonus
gosh.
points. Please, just let them
let them
suffer
cook.
in their shame.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
there you go.
reference to
Man.
Demolition Ranch.
Let them
Of
cook.
course.
Yeah, man.
It's quite a based reference. Not gonna.
Okay, so
I'll let you think that.
some of y'all want to talk about this fight then after hearing some of that?
Oh yes, this fight was very silly.
Yes.
This fight was incredibly silly. It's always incredibly interesting seeing experimental designs enter the Battlebots, and I mean, we know that there are thwackbots. They exist, you know.
I disagree.
No, thwackbots don't exist. They're a figment of your imagination.
That's what Greg would like you to think. The Greg media.
Whoa.
The season two middleweight champion was El Diablo and only El Diablo, nothing else.
Yeah, you can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, no, it was El Diablo,
What?
right?
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah, we know thwackbots exist. Gabriel in Robot Wars was an excellent example of like a modern, weird, floppy, hilarious but effective thwackbot. And you know, seeing these two go at it, and seeing Charles really underrated driving in this match was a absolute treat, because a lot of people have kind of, you know, like underrated Overhaul for a while because, you know, control bot equal bad. But
cringe.
In this match, you really got to see, you know, one of those fights where, you know, a control bot really shines, and especially a robot like Overhaul that like has this really strong just a season 1 Bite Force-esque claw, and you know, it can just take things places. That's also not to say that, you know, Star Child wasn't getting in its hits, or, you know, because Star Child was, you know, doing Star Child stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And, you know, I think this was a really incredible matchup done by the producers, because like it's just such a, this has entertaining fight written all over it, you know.
Yeah, I personally didn't expect this fight to be as entertaining as it was until I saw the fight. And yeah, because like I mentioned this in my prediction podcast, but like I was questioning during a lot of it that what was Overhaul going to be able to do in this fight, just because I thought Star Child's height was going to be a huge factor in that one. And like you said, Charles drove this fight great, even with the fact that they lost drive on one side very early on in the fight. Like, this is another case where, like, can't underestimate a robot even with drive on one side. It's like that was the case in Black Dragon and Monsoon, and that was this fight. The fact that he got, like, especially that one big grapple right there, while only having drive on one side, definitely proves your point that Charles driving is underrated without a doubt. And yeah, and Star Child posted a damage report recently, actually, and I'm guessing Derin might want to talk about that one. I'm guessing, so I'll give you the floor to talk about that one.
Okay, so I can start talking.
Go ahead.
First of all, I thought Star Child would win.
Yeah.
I'm very sad. Moving on. Okay, so according to the Star Child aberrant robotics Instagram, the weapon was only performing at about 60% of its strength due to motor tuning, and the torque limiting clutches on the drive weren't adjusted correctly, and so they had to adjust them a bit so they transferred more torque. They weren't getting that much torque in the fight. So that's kind of what happened there. Minor things, little new bot glitches, you know.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, and the one thing he didn't mention, at least, basically, I think based on what they were hinting, I think Brandon might have gotten COVID or something right before the event, because it's not, yeah, because like they didn't directly state that, but they mentioned in it that they hinted that I don't think he had a lot of stick time prior to this match. And apparently, partway through the fight, it wasn't driving the way it was in the test box too. But
Yeah.
from the sounds of it, it sounds like they improved the robot to where it'll spin at a faster speed, and definitely should be better for the fight with Mammoth coming soon.
Hey, a quick note.
And
I'm sorry, I apologize. When I first saw this Instagram post, they said the Captain Brandon tested positive for the beer virus.
Yeah,
and it didn't connect with me that they were talking about Corona, like the beer. For me, I thought they were saying that Brandon Zelensky just got fucking hammered and then
yeah,
that's
what I thought as well.
A distinct possibility.
That's what I thought too until I saw the word negative test a couple hours before the fight.
I didn't see that. I just read like the first part, and I was like, "Oh, Brandon got fucking smashed and then didn't show up for 3 days." I was like, "That's great."
That'd be insane if that was true.
A hangover that lasts for 3 days.
Yeah, dude got
just wandering the Nevada desert, just like,
oh man,
just in his underwear.
Area 51.
Fucking hammered.
Well, that's how they found Star Child.
That's where.
Oh,
in Area 51.
It all makes sense now.
Brandon Zelensky stumbled into Star Child in Area 51. This makes sense to me.
Alright.
While he was hammered.
Also where they found Double Tap, I think.
Double Tap and Doomba.
Yeah, of course, Doomba.
No, Double
Tap is
keep an
Area
eye on
51.
Star Child.
Yeah.
Doomba is Area 51, thank you.
Doomba's Area 51. Star Child is the alien from Area 51, and Double Tap's there to keep an eye on Double
Tap's the UFO.
Double Tap's the UFO, dude.
Have you heard of their self-righting mechanism?
But like the people, the team
are keeping an eye
is
on
like
it.
they're wearing like Men in Black costumes, so
yeah, obviously.
So therefore,
I think we figured it out. I think we figured out the overarching story of BattleBots.
We did it.
Brandon Zelensky
and Verizon is an orbiting satellite.
Yup.
No. Here's what happened. Brandon Zelensky brought P1 to BattleBots, then gambled it away in like a horse race or something.
Oh gosh.
And then he needed to find a robot, so we stumbled into Area 51 and found Star Child. That is the story.
Was he drunk or was he not drunk?
He was drunk the entire time.
Oh, okay.
That's what, because the dude drove to Area 51 and he was so hammered that he thought Star Child was his car. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna ride this thing home.
I'm gonna drive back on Star Child.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting.
This makes perfectly logical sense to me.
Oh, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Hope y'all like the lore of BattleBots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really happy that Charles, got a win on TV, and it was a really quality win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overhaul, in my opinion, is a really great robot. It's just it isn't always given the opportunity to shine in the way that I think it can.
Absolutely.
Hot takes.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about their next fight then. So,
Me. Literally
overhauls.
me.
Oh, you want to go ahead, Blaze.
Yes, I want to. All right, so Overhaul appears to be fighting Quad Viper next, which is a battle of the control bots.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
Starchild is going to lose to Mammoth.
So confident.
Your biases are showing.
I mean, Mammoth beat Cobalt, so
Of course, I wonder how
And
many
Monsoon.
I wonder how many times Civ is going to reference that RA2 moment.
Oh my god.
Civ.
Or
Civ's never going to reference that RA2
yeah,
moment.
so that's true.
Think
Civ
about
is
it.
never going to reference it. Blaze is always going to reference it, and Mantine will probably sometimes
Really
reference
bring
it.
it up.
But something happened,
Anyways.
like in some parallel universe, and like you guys experienced it, but like I'm in the regular timeline.
Yeah, it's a video game. It's a
Be
video
glad-
game thing.
RA2
No, I
moment.
know what RA2
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Be glad you're in this timeline where you don't have to play RA2.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. This is brilliant.
I mean, I have to play
Well-
with real life BattleBots. It's also kind of
Time?
Yeah, but you don't
It's
have
a
to
lot.
deal with the
Oh, yeah.
with Civ and Cobalt.
You
Well, anyway,
Yikes.
I'm gonna talk about these fights then, and then I'll let everybody else talk about these. So, Overhaul and Claw Viper, I really can't wait for that fight because like Overhaul and Claw Viper both really showed in their first fight what control bots can do, and each had really solid victories. And I think I'm gonna lean towards Claw Viper on this one, just because I think because I think what including actually now that I think about it, Claw Viper's fight is actually in the next episode where they're gonna fight Ribots, so we're gonna see it once again. So, but regardless, I think really what Overhaul and most other robots are gonna have a hard time with Claw Viper is just keeping up with that thing, keeping up with the speed of it. That seemed to be the problem Ominous had when they fought Claw Viper for their first match. And as for Starchild and Mammoth, as of right now, I'm leaning towards Mammoth on this fight, but it's going to depend on how well Starchild, even Mammoth as well, can build up from the first fight Gremlins that they had, and I think it should be an interesting Battle of the Big Boys match. So, BBBN.
Big boys, the
You wanna-
thick boys, battle of the thick boys.
What?
I have nothing to add.
What
Gotcha.
did you just say?
Other than battle of the thick boys.
Sounds like someone's down
Use
bad for
Starchild
Boss, be down bad on your own time.
Oh no,
Don't.
no, you got to be down
Come
bad
on,
on
Mom.
main here.
Yeah.
Mom, you can't do that.
Give me
Alright? Stop
big
being
boy
down
fights.
I mean, we're gonna get Starchild huge as well, so.
Yeah,
that'll
another
be a
big
huge
boy
fight.
fight. Scissors popping off right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Civ or Derin, either of you two want to talk about this?
So I think Claw Viper will make Overhaul feel a little silly, and Claw Viper will silly all over overall. So that's my prediction. Starchild
What are you
Mammoth,
saying?
Starchild Mammoth. That fight also probably will be a little silly, but I guess I'll go Mammoth on this one. But I don't know.
Based.
Honestly, big based opinions. Do you mind if I
Go for it.
for Overhaul Claw Viper, Claw Viper really showed like a lot of improvement over its performance from previous seasons.
Yes.
In its last fight, and I mean, yeah, bullying a OmniDrive robot as a control bot. But I know a lot of us in the pits when we saw that fight, saw the ominous fight for Claw Viper, we paid attention because that was like, oh, we hadn't seen Claw Viper act like that. Claw Viper was acting up. And if I'm honest, we're gonna have to. They're gonna have Overhaul. Sorry, Overhaul is going to have to really be on top of its game in order to like counteract Kevin's driving this season because, good lord.
Yeah. Even Will Bales mentioned that Claw Viper is not an easy opponent anymore, and probably for the reasons you literally just mentioned right there.
Yeah.
And
no, Kevin's wilding this season.
Oh
so,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, Claw Viper is on my Claw Viper is on my list for Dark Horse this season because like if Kevin continues to drive like how he did in that fight, we could see a serious run from Claw Viper in the tournament this year, and including I am planning on predicting Claw Viper over Ribot for that fight, and it'll be great. So.
And as for Star Child Mammoth, like I said earlier, big boy fights. Let's go. Like Star Child Mammoth it has the potential to just be almost a lot like this fight here, where it's just very silly. It has the potential to also be another, Mammoth Huge, where it's like just cartoon antics all over the place. 100% chaos, just like BBN just said. It's chef's kiss. Give me the silly fight, please and thank you. I don't know who's gonna win. I mean, I do, but shut up. But it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mammoth always makes a fight fun, win or lose.
Oh yeah.
That is so based.
Yeah.
Even when
they.
I think I'm gonna switch my prediction around. I'm gonna predict Star Child just to spite Blaze.
That's not fair.
Oh.
Screw you.
Like I mean,
I might join you with that.
My vote's probably still gonna be Mammoth for that one, but like I seriously think that could go either way, and I think it'll be a great fight regardless. And like can't forget like we got to see a stunning Rampage performance after they managed to win against Mammoth last season, and was a great showing from that robot. Said, hey, it was a great fight. It's my way of proving my point that win or lose, Mammoth has such entertaining fights. They always manage to make a fight good. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but did you have mentioned like a different loss?
Hypershock, that was a fun one.
Okay, thank you, because I actually like Hypershock.
Uppercut as well, that was a fun fight too.
Oh no! Oh god! Well, to be fair, that was like
that was a murder.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a murder before Uppercut was declared a murderer.
Same thing with Smee. Smee vs. Mammoth was fun too.
No!
I didn't think he was gonna react like that one.
Jeez, are you okay?
Mammoth was winning that fight.
It's okay, sweetie. It's okay. It's okay. Smee doesn't exist anymore. Smee can't hurt you.
Yeah, Smee doesn't exist anymore. Your demons are gone. Your demons are gone.
Oh my god.
I have my
What you got?
right prediction. Overall, Claw Viper, no question. Star Child Mammoth, Star Child, almost no question. Because speed is key.
Oh.
Damn. Very, very confident with those because I would personally say I'm not confident with either of those, but
I think it just really comes down to how well they're driven. Star Child Mammoth, they have the spinning disc, which if it works and they just keep swinging, they'll hit things. and Mammoth can't really damage them.
Yeah.
So,
But it
and
would
you
be
saw
really
what happened to
funny
their
if
carbon
Mammoth
fiber.
Buddha'd them.
I wouldn't say Mammoth doesn't do damage because like it's so weird how they like unusually manage to cause damage at least with that lifter like because like the big example that I could think of is how Lucky's flipper was crooked by the end of that fight and but like Mammoth is just such an odd thing because, like, not only is it just like such a strange design, but like you don't expect it to do damage, and you see it doing some damage to their opponents, and it's crazy. And yeah, I'm glad Ricky didn't retire Mammoth after last season, brought
I'm
back
not.
for another season.
Please never retire Mammoth, Ricky.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else, or should we get on to the next fight?
Let's
go on.
fight.
Next fight. Okay, I know Mantine. I'll just let you get the floor right now.
Maximum squishage happened in this one.
All right, Mantine, the floor is yours for this one.
What's wrong?
Is he okay?
This was a
What's
good
wrong?
one. This was a good one. Oh man. Oh, sorry, I was just cackling at the sight of Gruff getting shit on. So this fight really just made my day. It truly, my heart was warmed. The stockings were full. It was Christmas time. It was fucking Christmas for me.
Quantum went 2-0.
Quantum 2-0. It's actually 3 sizes minimum. I mean, Quantum in an absolutely dominant display of just everything: control, aggression, damage. It was the fucking holy trinity. It was amazing. People are like, okay, it beat Shredderite or whatever, but I mean, I don't know. This was an equally dominant performance against a bot that is known for its toughness, and it went through it like butter, and it was amazing. They tried to bring back shades of Tornado. I got PTSD. I heard the chopper blades, the rotors in the background, but luckily it all faded away as I watched this symphony unfold. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect it to go through Gruff as easily as it did, but it just went right through with no issue. And those side bits didn't do anything, and it just slammed it all across the arena. It's like it took away all of the problems that people had with Razor, where it had to sit still and crush something, and it just took all that away, and it just made this perfect Bob Ross-esque painting called Quantum. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Okay, so
He's cooking right now. I like it.
I'm cooking. Let me cook.
He's cooking right now, man.
Us needs to cook. Holy shit.
I'm vibing with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why
I just had to say that.
the reason why Gruff lost. Okay, so the reason why Gruff lost is because they didn't do a proper Razor Cage. They did it partway. They didn't do it properly. They would have won if they did it properly. Probably not. Quantum could have just probably bit it off or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Whip just delayed the death of Gruff if they did go with that attachment that Tornado used in that fight. Just a little bit more.
Funny. Hammer Gruff.
Oh man.
But yeah, I'm gonna straight up admit right here, I'm pretty sure they set up this matchup just to give like another opportunity for Gruff or Quantum to prove the power of that Crusher. Just because like Gruff has always been known as tough robot. It's hard to get through that armor, which is probably why they paired up Gruff with Cobalt last season, at least just to try to show off the damaging weapon of Cobalt at least. But like Mantine said, I didn't think Quantum was going to get through to Gruff as easily as they did right there. I didn't think
like butter.
Yeah, I didn't think. I personally thought the lifter attachment might have a little bit of success, but I did not think those those top those top pieces that you're seeing like in those image right there. I didn't think they were gonna last long against Quantum if Quantum bit on one of those, and my suspicions were right. And
The biter bars.
yeah,
or
the biter
something?
bars, and
I remember I watched this fight with my stepdad. My stepdad loves Quantum, by the way, because he's a mechanical engineer, and he really loves the hydraulics, and he loves seeing Quantum just chew on its opponents. And if I remember correctly, he said, "What biter bars? It looks like they just welded some shit to the top of it."
yeah.
Good, man.
And I'm just like,
Not wrong though.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I get the idea, I get where Gruff was going with that, what they were trying to
yeah,
do
same.
there, but like I didn't really see a lot of success at having, but like it was a good
Yeah.
idea to try. Try against.
It was a valiant effort, I
Yes.
think. And I mean, like, Sam is an incredible driver, as
Yep.
we've seen in the past, and there's every opportunity for them to have gotten something going with Quantum here. But as we saw in the Shredderator fight, Quantum is like Kevin, just friggin' wildin' this year.
Yeah.
They came back and they were like, "Hey, hope you didn't forget about us, because you won't after this year, man.
Oh yeah.
You will not."
Yeah. Absolutely.
I will say,
Statement
here's
win
the
after statement win for them, and
Yep.
I honestly think like Quantum has the potential to go pretty far.
Absolutely. What you got, BBBN?
here's the why the Gruff lost. Here's why Gruff lost. Because it pulled a Bronco. It pulled a Bronco and
Yes.
added attachments that, in theory and on paper, could make sense. Like instantly when I think about it, I think of like the huge fight where they just added on like a bunch of random armor plating to try to like stop the weapon or like try to get under huge. I mean, and it didn't work at all. I mean,
Most part, like I'd say the
in
unicorn attachment worked very
the
well.
unicorn attachment did well, but Quantum is such a fast robot that it could just get to the side and then invalidates that, and then it invalidates like those like little picket fences on the side because the picket fences just got crushed in one crush pretty easily. But masterclass for Quantum. Anything that I
Absolutely.
would say would just be repeating what everyone else said already.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I probably have to go here, but before I go, Hammersaw finally went 0-1. Let's fucking go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Classic Civ.
Nope.
Classic Civ not liking hammer saws.
Okay, bye.
Yep.
Even talking
Audio
about.
Civ, but yeah. Pretty much same thing as said before. That was just a masterclass driving performance from Quantum, just out driving Gruff like that, and another incredible victory. I think Derin, I think you had something you wanted to say. Go for it.
This was quite a fun fight to watch. Just watching Quantum bury its face into Gruff and then just go across the arena with it was quite fun to watch. I think I spit on my computer. I'm amazing at this. Yeah, it was just fun
Why
watching
eat
it go
dinner first?
bang. Just watching it go bang and watching and seeing the rubber or whatever Quantum uses on its wheels just scraping and painting up the arena floor because it was pushing so hard.
Yes.
This is a good fight, man. And like this robot has faced Tombstone Gruff and like survives to the end, and it was KO'd by a Crusher. That just shows how powerful Quantum is, I think.
Absolutely.
Just the next fights. Are we going to the next fights or?
Yeah, that's next, but
I guess we'll start.
we'll hold off on Gruff versus Black Dragon since we already talked about that one earlier. So talk about Gruff and Witch Doctor, which
Witch Doctor, no question.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say right off, I'm just gonna say right off the bat, that's a tough match. That's a rough matchup for Gruff to get Witch Doctor next, because like
Could say
Witch
rough
Doctor,
No.
it
for
It's
Gruff.
gruff.
yeah,
It's
rough for
gruff,
Gruff,
trust
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You can stop
Wait,
stealing my
guys, hold on.
thing.
Is it Gruff? Is it a Gruff map? Ooh,
Ooh,
It's a gruff matchup.
yeah.
Gruff.
Yeah, we're gonna see Witch Doctor's next fight with Fusion coming in the next episode. So, but regardless, though, like we already saw Witch Doctor just hammer Ribot like that in the first fight of the season, and just I seriously think we're gonna see a Witch Doctor get another fast KO in that one. At least I think Sam's gonna need to drive that fight perfectly if he's gonna win against Witch Doctor right there.
No,
Because
he's gonna win against Witch Doctor because Witch Doctor is gonna lose a side of drive by running into a seam on the floor.
are you just
Somehow.
saying that
It
because
would be
Mammoth
funny.
lost to Witch Doctor?
No, I'm saying that
I
because
think
I
he's saying
joked
that
with
because
Matt
Mammoth
Grubb
lost to
going
Witch
4-0.
Doctor.
Yeah, exactly. It's BBBN gets it. So
Bruh. Hey.
You're just a salty little boy.
Ooh,
Right.
shots fired.
That's true, though.
well,
Can't
yeah.
hide it.
BBN or Mantine, you want to talk about Gruff and Witch Doctor? Or Alex as well. I know you haven't talked about it this one either.
I feel what did Gruff do to deserve to get Witch Doctor? That's
Yeah,
my
that's
question.
what I'm curious.
And the cruelty there. That's like cruel and unusual punishment.
I mean, hey, this would have been a main event in season 5.
Probably would have.
So, no, I'm kidding. But the thing is, this is theoretically, this is actually a shockingly good matchup on paper because once again, Gruff, very tough, very durable, very on fire, and Witch Doctor, coming off of a very huge statement win to Ribot. We don't know the outcome of their fusion fight just yet, but I see this being a very difficult fight for both drivers, but unfortunately, I guess, especially for Sam, like you said, he's going to have to drive it perfectly if he wants to win. In my opinion, he'd probably have to drive it perfectly to even get it to a judge's decision, especially with how Witch Doctor was, hitting in their fight against Ribot, and even when you think about how they were hitting in the Golden Bolt, or how they were hitting against Sawblaze last year, they're slowly but surely hitting like a meteor hitting the earth at this point.
Yeah.
Like they're one of the best verts in the game, and Gruff is gonna have to really, really, really pull out something huge in order to get one over on them, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Anybody else have anything to talk about with this fight?
Witch Doctor's gonna lose the Gruff. Okay, well, like
You're so happy.
I'd love to see that happen, but
loses.
like I think I gotta lean
Witch
towards
Doctor
Witch
beats
Doctor.
Gruff. I don't know. I'll admit that Mammoth sucks or something. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
It's probably not gonna happen, but it would be funny.
It would be
So
it would be funny if Gruff managed to win that one, and impressive on Gruff's end. At least,
Like
so.
if they pulled a Kraken, that'd be great.
Oh yeah. Including, I think if they win that fight, if they win that fight convincingly, I think they make the bracket with that. So.
100%.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're making bracket, man.
Anyway, should we move on to the next fight?
Absolutely.
Next fight.
Okay, this one, the other one that really sparked stuff in the
Lord.
BattleBots community. So
I'm fine with this decision.
Oh wait,
First of
this
all, I'd
one
like to
did.
say
That
that.
doesn't surprise me.
it didn't do
This one
as,
was
even in close as much as Malice Emulsifier, but there was some at least. But
If I'm
yeah.
honest, I don't know fully why, but like I'll have some opinions that'll come around later.
Yeah.
But I'll let you guys.
Yeah, so we got the return of Beta as well as the debut of the new Kraken for this fight. So Kraken coming in with a hammer saw rather than the Crusher that we've known them so well for. And fun fact also, well, not really a fun fact exactly. Something I'm really hyped for is the fact that Kraken is bringing back the Crusher for the Destructathon. So that should be an incredible sight to see. And yeah.
Actually, fun fact. I would love. I just want to kind of bring this up. So Destructathon, as we kind of know the deal about Destructathon at this point, right? It's sort of a WWE sort of deal. Well, a friend of mine is actually going to be the captain of Kraken.
Ooh, damn.
He's going to be playing the captain of Kraken. It's so funny because I'm outside of BattleBots, I'm a performer. I'm an opera singer by trade, and this guy's a performer as well. We've done improv together, and the fact that there are now two tall people named Alex in Las Vegas, both involved in BattleBots in some weird ways, and they're both performers. I think that's kind of funny.
That's just a little silly.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Very silly.
Still awesome regardless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pretty case.
Then, yeah, after a season of absence, we got Beta back once again. Different hammer configuration this time around. They went with a thin steel hammer, better to take spinner attacks, as we saw in that fight. So,
I think they used this hammer because they had to take weight out of the hammer so they could put better armor on their top area. Because normally they use polycarbonate to cover like all that exposed area. They replaced it with like metal, so they probably had to take weight out of the hammer to use it.
yeah. I think they probably still would have gone with something like that regardless, based on its purpose. Because, because John Reed definitely was not a fan of like firing the hammer into a spinner. Or the last time Beta was there, and this one is supposedly better for that. And I think it definitely is a lot. And we got to, and like I didn't keep track of how many how many times that Beta used the hammer, but I think it was probably more times than we saw it used in 2020, like all together. Very kind of.
Nice little pacify the fan base.
Yeah.
This Reddit will be happy now.
They're not. They're not. They're probably not, because there were Facebook people. There were Facebook people calling out that they didn't agree with the decision, and there were others that threw a bunch of insults towards Beta, that Beta did nothing in that match, and it's just classic BattleBots Facebook group basically, or BattleBots Reddit.
Yes.
BattleBots group, BattleBots Reddit. We love it.
We're here for it. What was I gonna say? I think a lot of Beta's aggression, at least with the hammer, has to come from Jason, whatever his last name is, the former driver of Thor from Robot Wars, who would just wail on opponents whenever he got the shot. Too.
Yeah, literally.
Like every single time.
That was one of the reasons why Thor was actually one of my favorite robots in Robot Wars. There's Thor and Thor and Apollo were my two favorites in Robot Wars. And
that's pretty valid.
And we saw his like hammer style come through in this fight. Even if it meant like the hammer just being bent all over the place. Like he still did that. He still was the driver of Thor. even when his hammer was broken, he still hammered it. It was great
Yes.
to see that sort of
Well,
aggression.
It's funny that you bring up favorite robots from Robot Wars, because one of my favorites from the reboot was Terahertz.
Ooh, good choice.
And
Yeah.
this had shades of Terahertz for me. It was like, oh, this is my boy. He's back. At least in some capacity. Wasn't moving as well as Terahertz did. But after being in a box for a year, you got to stretch your legs.
Relatable.
Yep.
And
in the box for a year.
oh, exactly. And with Kraken, I guess this is just me starting to talk about this fight. I love Kraken's new design. Even though everybody online was just like, I thought they were retired. No, they were back. You should have known.
Retired.
Oh yeah.
I thought that robot retired. No, it did not. And I
I
was
love your
really,
hater voice.
oh, thank you.
Why did they do that?
I don't understand. Where's Tombstone?
Why didn't Kraken win?
Why don't they put a gun on it?
I want Biforce.
Where's the guns?
Whiplash is a bad robot.
Uppercut.
Okay, Mantine.
But if I'm honest, this was actually one of the fights that I remembered very differently. But it was nice coming back and seeing, oh yeah, no, Kraken did a lot better than I remembered them doing in this fight. Kraken got a lot of really great hits in, and I remember even on commentary, Chris and Kenny were like, I bet he's not, used to this type of weapon. And I mean, Spurk has been building robots for years. I'm sure he's had a spinner.
It didn't look like he felt new to it.
He absolutely didn't. And I mean, Spurk is an incredible driver, as we've seen with Kraken in the past. So, if there's one thing that I think may have been at their detriment this time around, was their durability, because with old two-wheeled Kraken, when they lost a side of drive, it was no real big deal. They were wobbling all over the place, still being really competitive. When they lost a drive side here, it looked like it,
Yeah. Absolutely.
And even though they were really on Beta, and Beta was kind of stop and start and really like intermittent, Beta was still doing, in my opinion, a lot to stay squared up to them, except for that part where Kraken ate the booty like groceries. But we don't. This is a kid's show.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, cool. Can I say the F word here? No.
Yeah. I mean, above the green.
What?
What?
Is this up to you?
What?
Green.
Your show. It's up to you. It's your show.
I mean, if I did have a rule against that, like Mantine breaks it like 10 times a podcast just in the power ranking section.
I also
so
swear it in this
well,
podcast
there you
already,
go.
So
yeah.
In my opinion, I very much agreed with the judge's decision. I understand why. I can kind of understand why people don't agree. But it do be like that sometimes. It was still, it was one of those fights where, a new design, surprise, was having some issues.
Wow, that's
We've
crazy.
seen that a lot
That's
this
nuts.
season.
Yep.
We've seen that a lot this season, and like that's okay. I'm excited that Matt has done something new with Kraken, and I'm really excited to see the future of it.
Yep. Same here. Yeah. Yeah, my opinions on the decision at least. I had Kraken winning that decision until the last 30 seconds when Beta really started an onslaught going with that crooked hammer, or at least after they fired the hammer right into the weapon there, and I felt that that's kind of what that kind of what won the fight, at least for me. Why I felt Beta won that decision, but
Yeah.
it was a great match regardless, and I yeah, like mentioned, I can't wait to see both these robots in their next couple fights, and
Mhm.
yeah, and basically we heard on Uda that there were a bunch of ESC problems that Kraken was having, and I know we'll be talking about Shred It Bro. I know they also had issues with that, and Darren, I tell you want to talk about that, so why don't you go ahead and talk about it? Yep, go for it.
Yeah, they posted an Instagram thing, and there's a lot of things broke in this
Yeah,
fight. First of all, my thoughts. It was like stop go. Like I remember like basically almost wanting to scream at my computer screen, like Beta, what that? Why are you not driving? Kraken is right behind you. They're about to hit you. Kraken, why are you not driving? And I was just like, it was like, move you two. That was very fun. Now for the fight. Let's see here. Okay, so Kraken had a lot of issues. The new tires loaded up with paint, and the tread fell off the wheels. And then two of the four keys came loose because of the Loctite reacting with the grease in the sprockets, which is a thing that can happen apparently.
yep,
Sometimes one in the test box, a wheel would occasionally stop, so they tried resetting the VESC settings. Weapon, nothing really went wrong with the weapon, except that when the hammer hit that area, what it did was the impact bent the armor that protected the belt, and that jammed the pulley for the weapon, so it couldn't spin anymore. So yeah, this is quite a very interesting match overall. Quite fun. Looking forward to see what these two can do in the future.
yeah, absolutely. Anything
It
else
is
before
indeed
we,
one.
anything else before we talk about their upcoming matchups?
I will say that I disagreed with the decision, but like I didn't like. It's not that big of a deal,
Oh
honestly,
yeah.
because like it could have easily have gone either way.
Yeah, it's one of those decisions where, like, even though I did agree with it, I can see the argument for why people might think that Kraken should have won that fight. It was a pretty close matchup, and yeah, so
Yes.
next opponent, so Beta takes on Shatter for their next fight, which should be a banger of a hammer on hammer battle. And we got Kraken and Lucky, which should be another pretty banger of a fight in my opinion. So uh,
Mhm.
what's everyone's thoughts on those matchups?
Can I go
Mm,
first?
Go for it.
okay.
Uh, Beta and Shatter. Oh man. Okay. So like, um, I think probably Shatter. I think because it can move a bit better and has forks. But like, and it really depends. Like, it's like a coin flip, man. Like, I'm just gonna do the other fight. Kraken and Lucky. I think Kraken probably will win that one because they'll probably have ironed out most of their issues by then, and they'll probably be able to get around to the side of Lucky or under the flipper and just hit him a couple times and win. I have no idea for Beta versus Shatter, like, at all. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about this fight next. Then Beta's already revealed on social media that they went with the aluminum hammer for this one, basically the hammer that we've known them so well for using, at least in previous seasons. So my opinion on that fight, my vote right now is for Shatter, but that fight could go either way. I think the winner of that fight is going to be determined on who can hit the sweet spot, which the sweet spot is their weapon areas, because they both have somewhat or very much exposed weapon areas, and I think whoever strikes that first to disable the other's weapon is probably going to be the winner of this fight. But I'm really looking forward to this one regardless, and like the other reason why I'm going Shatter, at least just based on that topic that I was bringing up right there, Shatter has proven they have defenses to be able to give themselves a little more protection against hammers. I don't think we've seen anything like that from Beta so far, which they might. Which they might. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but regardless, I've been wanting a hammer on hammer battle for a long time in Battlebots, and we're finally getting one right here. Shattered Blacksmith is somewhat a hammer on hammer battle, even though Blacksmith was a power hammer that year. But like this is like a true hammer on hammer battle, in my opinion. As for Kraken and Lucky, like that one's I think what that one's going to come down to is how well can Kraken rebound from this one exactly. Because like Derin mentioned that there were so many gremlins within Kraken in this fight, and Lucky was like nearly pitch perfect in that fight with Triton early on. Mm-hmm. And if they keep that up, Lucky's another robot that could possibly go on a deep run this season. And my vote right now is on Lucky for that fight, but I think that'll be a good matchup regardless, and should be a good driving match between Tim Olsen and Matt Spurks. So,
Beta and Shatter, like, talk about a dream match.
Yes.
Where it's like the two where you have like the most legendary hammer in the game and like the up and coming just like has made the tournament, has been very consistent robot and Shatter. In my opinion, that is all going to come down to who has the better top armor. Like, if who has the better top armor and who gets the better shots in.
Yep.
Because if either of them gets a really good shot on like say a battery or like a wheel, then it could be curtains.
Yep.
And like especially with Shatter, I don't know what the mobility is if one of their wheels gets broken, but like if Beta hits one of those, it could that could mean lights out. As for Kraken versus Lucky, Matt is such a great driver. That he really, brought, in my opinion, really brought Lucky back to life last season. Because, Lucky has always had the potential to be up there. It's always had the potential to be mentioned amongst, some of the better machines on the show, but it just hasn't had the right driver until now, in my opinion. And it's not going to be an easy fight for either robot, but I feel like Lucky would have a bit more of an advantage in this fight.
Crazy how this one's a battle of the Matt drivers, Matt Spurk and Matt Olsen.
Yes.
And that's incredible. I can't wait.
BBBN
or
Blaze that fight.
I'll start off with the Lucky v Kraken fight. I think this is one of better ground game. I feel like Lucky's gonna have an easier time of just getting under Kraken and then getting some flips off. And maybe stopping that weapon. Like if the weapon lands on the floor first, it might knock it out. So I think I will tip towards Lucky on that one. For the Shatter versus Vita, I almost don't want to like call who I think is gonna win because I feel like this is a very even match. Both
Absolutely.
robots have so much experience driving Hammerbots, so this is one of the better driving will win, and I cannot discern which one that would be.
Like they're
Definitely.
both great drivers, so like
Exactly. It's like, oh man, I don't even have an analogy. They're both such good drivers that whoever has the better driving day will win the match, and who that will be is remaining to be seen.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What you got,
All right, it's
Blaze?
my turn.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
All
your
right.
turn.
So, Beetle versus Shatter. It's a toss up. Honestly, it's gonna depend on driving and ground game. What Shatter most likely has a ground game, but John Reed is a terrific driver, and so is Adam Wrigley. So it's a toss up.
It literally
And then
is.
the Battle of the Mats, aka Kraken versus Lucky. Oh, that's also a toss up. Honestly, it's just gonna depend on how well Kraken can bounce back. Um, hoping for Kraken to win against Lucky, but hey, who knows? You go
Yeah,
either way.
literally could.
Oh,
Anything
yeah.
else, or should we get on to the next one? The real fun.
I mean, we don't have to go on to the next one if you don't want to. I mean, like we can just continue to talk about this fight. You know, I really like the color of Kraken's wheels this year. You know, Kraken kind of looks like Switchback a little bit. I mean, you know, Switchback's a great robot.
You have been such a great guest that we will just skip to the main event just for
No,
you.
no. We're not gonna.
Right.
I have questions.
Oh yeah.
And I'll probably have some answers.
Good.
Okay, next fight. So the debut of Shreddit Bro and Horizon. Even though Shreddit Bro, neither of these teams are really rookies because the teams have been involved with Battlebots in previous seasons. So Shreddit Bro coming back after being pain trained for the past 2 seasons, and then Horizon. And once again, we saw Axolotl a couple seasons ago, and then some of the members were on Gigabyte last season, and
Gigabyte and Cobalt, yeah.
And Cobalt, yep. So, yeah, what was kind of the strategy for Horizon coming into this fight, at least, to take on Shreddit Bro?
Honestly, the strategy was primarily to get at the wheels. We knew that Shreddit Bro was having some issues with their drive. And, you know, I had, what was it? I'd recently talked with a member of the team who had told me, like, they had like rebuilt their drive, you know, like the day before this fight, and you know it was still, you know, acting up, you know, during the fight. So it was, you know, it was a toss up, but like it was also better than how they were in the test box, which kind of saw like some stuff falling apart. They had, if I'm not mistaken, hit like the bottom of the test box when their drum had kind of come loose, and they had made like these little vanilla bean looking things. But yeah.
That might explain why partway into this fight, like Shreddit Bro was having issues with their drum spinner touching the Battlebot's floor, at least.
Yeah, it did the same. It did the same thing in this fight as well.
Gotcha.
And you know, like I said, the main thing was to disable drive and stay away from the drum, and we see how well that worked out. uh, you have any other questions?
Okay, let me think here. So, why was the okay? You might not be able to answer this, but why was Shredded Bros Drive so bad?
I can actually explain that one. The same issue that Kraken was having with their drive, the ESC issue was apparent. Basically, the ESC issue was a common thing amongst Kraken, Shredded Bro, and then one other team. I don't remember who that last one was, but Matt Spurk mentioned it in the Out of the Arena Discord server, and according to Zaza, actually, Evan Arias apparently mentioned it there too as well. I didn't see it, but yeah, there was a common issue with ESCs going on it that ended up affecting a few robots' drive in their first fight, and apparently it sounds like they did get it fixed for future fights. So I'm pretty sure that's why Shredded Bro's drive was a bit off in this one, and yeah.
Vesks are a very tricky thing to tune.
Yes.
A lot of issues that you see with a lot of robots drive in any sort of like early season fight will more often than not be the fault of a Vesk that was tuned incorrectly, or like there was something that was not set right, or and as you saw, we also had some driving issues ourselves, which was also an ESC issue.
Yeah, maybe Horizon was the other team out of the big three that were mentioned. I don't remember. So.
Well, I mean, for us, it wasn't as big of an issue as it was for other teams. We had just forgotten to. We're running like a custom drive ESC. When it works beautifully. The robot is incredibly quick and drives really well. The unfortunate thing was some of these a lot of these ESCs are made for electric skateboards, and some of them have safety features to keep the riders from getting yeeted off into the street.
Yeah.
If your skateboard goes from 0 to 100 like that, you're gonna eat shit and you're gonna sue the company. So this allows the skateboard to very gradually ramp up, and for us, we maybe, I don't know.
You are clearly not a skateboard.
It looks semi like it looks semi like a skateboard, just a really like thin one.
We kind of forgot to remove a safety feature. Remove that safety feature. Gotcha. I mean, there are also a whole litany of other issues that I will go into detail. About later on in the week in a video that will be up on the Horizon channel on YouTube.
So make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel.
Hold on a minute.
Hold on,
fam. Where's
it's where
just go to my channel and just go to the featured channels thing. All the channels I'm subscribed to,
and then subscribe to theirs.
Because Horizon's is in there. And if you're viewing this and you're not subscribed to Horizon or checked out any of their videos, I do plan on linking Horizon's channel in the description, as I did when the Horizon team was on the podcast the first time. So,
thank you. By the way,
this is one base channel.
Yeah. It has one video.
Yeah, that's based.
Yeah, anybody that appears on my channel, I will put a link to their channels in the description. So
There
You
will
should
be
subscribe to mine
more
first.
videos. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I stepped on your plug there.
No. I stepped on whatever you were gonna say.
I'm currently 1 subscriber away from 500 as for when we're recording this. So
There you go.
yeah, heck yeah. I'm thinking of I'm thinking of some sort of celebration I gotta do for that. I did a celebration when I hit 100. I gotta do one when I hit 500 as well. There'll probably be some sort of stream
You
of
should
some
smoke
sort.
the
but
BBBN pack.
yeah,
Oh my God,
definitely. But
We also had I think as you saw, one of our weapon sides wasn't spinning, and that was because we threw a chain. We forgot to weld the master link, and we threw that chain within the first few seconds, and that's why the weapon wasn't spinning up as fast as it could. Because basically we were babying the sticks because of the ESC issue, and we were running off of one weapon side, so it wasn't as strong of a force as we would have liked.
yeah, I was gonna ask why the arm wasn't spinning as like the entire arm was spinning as fast as like what we've seen with like Skyline and previously, but that would explain why.
Yeah, and I mean
Skyline's a lot smaller.
Oh yes, that too.
Yeah, with a robot like Skyline, Skyline has like 1 pound discs.
Yep.
But I actually brought with Horizon.
Ooh. Heck yeah.
This is about 23 pounds. This is actually the disc that, if you can see here, got bent by Shred It Bro. You can see right there. You see that little dent there?
Ooh.
That was where Shred It Bro hit.
Dang.
And that was what sent us flying.
Gotcha.
I'll be honest with you here. Don't underestimate Shred It Bro.
Oh yeah.
It still got a big hit in.
Yep.
They hit really hard. I mean, granted.
Shame that Pori's not here because Pori's been hyping up Evan Arias' robots ever since Pain Train debuted in 2020.
Oh.
And yeah, he was really hyping up Shred It Bro coming into this season too. But it's definitely a big deal. Definitely a big deal.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. I mean, we got some pretty decent, hits on them as well. Like
you got a wheel.
We got their back wheel. There will be a post up on the Horizon Instagram account later, probably tomorrow, where you will be able to see, some of the damage that we caused to them. But we got that wheel, and we actually got that wheel. We have it now. They signed it and everything. It's really cool. We also did damage to like their drum when we hit it, and we also got one of the bolt heads on the, I think it was the front left side of their drive. That was smacked in. All in all, unfortunately, sometimes with rookie robots, especially rookie robots that have very experimental designs, like I said earlier, there are teething issues. There are a lot of issues that, happen. We, in fact, didn't fully come together like as a full team until like day 0 of Battlebots. Like, that was when we had all actually met up with each other for like the first time. Like we'd done stuff together, in smaller groups before, but outside of that, we were still figuring out how to be Team Horizon. And there was a lot of miscommunication. There was a lot of people still figuring out how to do the robot. And so, first time team with a weird robot, it's not gonna the fact that we went all 3 minutes and did damage, it's kind of it's a low bar, but I think we kind of we stumbled over it, but we got over it.
Oh yeah, there were definitely some successes within that, and obviously there will be some first round gremlins which went very well, and yeah, I'm betting we'll see an improved Horizon, especially for those upcoming fights. So
yeah,
and all that stuff. I do have one question at least. I remember from seeing one of the Scorpios builder blogs, especially from before the season began. I remember them showing a clip of you guys weighing your robot, and I think you were like 30 pounds underweight, somewhere around there, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall what you ended up doing with that extra weight, or did you end up just coming in to fights like this underweight?
So that wasn't the full robot. That was the robot without, the batteries in it. That was just us getting the robot together and weighing it for the first actual time. And I mean, even still with the batteries and stuff in it, it was like, I want to say 225 pounds, which did actually allow us to be able to play with some stuff later on. Add on armor panels, add on different things that we wouldn't have been able to add on otherwise. We end up having a mini bot at some point.
Fingers crossed, it's orb.
It's definitely not. It's if you remember Timeline.
Oh, Timeline.
Oh,
yeah. It's mentioned on the wiki, bro. Come on. But it's renamed Sunrise, is what it's named now. But the thing is, when a robot comes in underweight, it's actually not that big of a deal because you can do more with it later on. And in fact, it's kind of ideal to come in underweight without all of your armor on, because like if you're right at the weight limit without any configuration, then like what are you going to do if you fight a robot that you don't have a configuration for? Or are you just going in with the same configuration every fight?
Yeah, it's always better to be underweight than overweight as well. So, absolutely, yeah. It's definitely great that you're able to find extra things to do with that extra 25 pounds, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you come with when you take on Monsoon for its next fight, and I'm looking forward to that one. Just seeing like combination of how will both robots kind of rebound from this first fight. So, yeah, we can talk about next matchups here. Horizon and Monsoon is coming, and then Shredded Bro has Ominous for their next fight. Yeah, so any pre-fight reveals for us about the Monsoon fight?
Just tell us who wins.
I'm not gonna do that. That's too easy.
Yeah.
I will tell you that about, I want to say 7 hours after the Shred It Bro fight, right? We got a new blade put on. We fixed the chain. Everything else was, not really all that damaged. We retuned the ESC, got it put in the test box. Perfect.
Nice.
It spun up even faster than what you saw in the test video that we posted. Because now we had full control of the blades, and now our drive is starting to become more reliable. So at the very least, expect a horizon that's more the way that we designed it.
Gotcha. Yeah, because like how I'm picturing a huge weapon on weapon shot for that one, and one or both bots are gonna go flying. At least from how I'm picturing this fight, and yeah, I'm predicting we're gonna see a pretty good matchup between those two, and I think it should be epic to see, and regardless of who wins.
I'm excited for you guys to see that fight. It's a good one. I'll say it's a good one.
Absolutely, I can't.
For who, I
can't
won't
wait.
tell you, but
Yeah, and then Shut It Bro and Ominous. That one's one where I'm not exactly sure what direction I'm gonna go right there. Like, well, I think it's one that I think could go either way between the two of them. I think it'll depend on how well Shredded Bro can rebound from the issues they had in this fight. It sounds like the ESCs were tuned up for them after that matchup, but yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Ominous right now. Sorry, Pori, if you're watching this, but Shredder Bro is not one to underestimate there, and Shredder Bro could definitely land the huge punches that they were able to land at least in this fight. So I think that'll be exciting regardless. So
I mean, like I said,
yeah,
you've seen what it can do.
yeah,
This is 3/4. This is 3/4 inch thick AR 500.
it's
Nothing to
incredible.
scoff at. Nothing to scoff at.
Oh yeah, absolutely incredible. But yeah, as for Horizon and Monsoon, then like basically that's definitely a tough matchup for Horizon at least because I think Monsoon definitely has the design advantage and probably why I'm probably gonna lean towards Monsoon on that one. But like if Horizon works a lot better than expected, we could definitely see an upset alert at least, and we've seen a lot of those already this season, including I have a few upsets I'm planning on predicting for this next episode. So like regardless of who wins, I think it'll be an excellent fight to see and should be a great test for Horizon for sure, especially since it's such a big opponent like Monsoon. Be great experience for the robots. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so
I'd love to hear everybody else's opinions. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm just talking.
Oh yeah,
Well,
It's
let's
your
see.
robot. It's
oh
your
yeah.
time to shine.
It's one of the reasons why I invited you and the rest of the team onto this one at least. Is just to
Yeah,
talk about this one. Plus Horizon's one of the newcomers I was most hyped for this season. So yeah.
yeah. And I'm most interested about hearing what other people thought about
Oh
the
yeah.
fight
The
and
fight.
like what they think of the next matchups.
Yeah.
I will say this very quick for the due diligence of time, really. Um Both robots have the shell of something great. Both robots have the like for Horizon, it's the design of Horizon that will be very hard to play around because there's no other robot like Horizon.
Yeah.
For Shred-It Bro, it's a builder that's been in Battlebots before, and it's a design that takes like inspiration from like at least the drum is like inspired by Copperhead. At least it looks like it's inspired by Copperhead, and then like a tested like 4-wheel design that works well. Both of these robots can do well. It's just which one of them are able to like win the fights and like win the fights convincingly. As for the fights in general, I mean, I think it's gonna be like big collision after big collision for Horizon and Monsoon. Definitely from what I'm hearing from the podcast. You know, when I record BBBN, it's right after like I watch the episode, and I mean, hearing a lot of this, it makes me more confident about both Horizon and Monsoon, just as robots and how they're built. But I will lean towards Monsoon just because the design is pretty known and pretty like battle tested.
Right.
Also, I mean, yeah. And then Shred-It Bro and Ominous, 2 rookie robots, but I think Ominous has more control just because of the fact that it is Omni Wheels, and I mean, Shred-It Bro could land a KO punch as it did against Horizon, and that could easily happen. But I would also lean Ominous for that fight.
Derin, you want to go?
Ah, right. Horizon Monsoon, I'll probably go Monsoon mostly because I know how it works and it's pretty reliable. No offense.
No, none taken.
Shred-It Bro and Ominous. Assuming Shred-It Bro can to quote someone, get its shit together, I think they'll take it.
Ooh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, definitely respect that. Definitely respect all that, and
that's kind of my opinion. Quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Horizon's next showdown and seeing just how well you're able to work with and fix lots of those first round gremlins. So
yeah, really quick, just shout out to Evan Arias of Shred-It Bro. 100% the sweetest guy you will ever meet.
yeah.
He is just an incredible human being, and I'm so happy that that we were able to at the very least be something of a proving ground for Shred-It Bro, and show people that Shred-It Bro isn't Pain Train, kind of.
I mean, a similar weapon, but yeah, it is a different robot. So
this thing hits like a train.
Yes.
Well, Pain Train was literally a train of pain. By pain, I mean sadness.
But yeah.
I'm sorry.
Anything else about this fight from anybody, or anything else on Horizon from you, Alex?
Well, just really quick, at a future point, we are going to be putting this disc up on eBay. So if anyone wants this, if anyone wants it, I don't know if anyone wants it.
I would.
It might just exist.
I would. I'm a bot part collector.
Hey.
I'll take it for free.
You're not getting it for free, honey.
I'd gladly put in an offer for it.
No, not $2.
Yeah, like I'd
we'll work on the negotiation later.
Hey, I'd pay $200.
Yeah, we'll haggle about this later.
I'd put 200 in for that blade. To be honest,
only $2.
Perfect.
That's as high as I can go.
And this is the last sort of plug that I have relating to the Shred-It Bro fight. We have a first fight shirt up on our store right now. It's a very adorable shirt designed by our very own Hotcoin, Justin. The shirt is sort of a representation of the big moment where, you know, Horizon's just in the air and Shreddit Bro's just like, yeah. It's we have a promotion running at the moment. If you use the coupon code FIRSTFIGHT at checkout, you get free shipping. Not the robot. You get free shipping on your order.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want anything from the store, that includes poker chips, that includes you know, new shirts, that includes, you know, new stickers. Please go right ahead. You know, we will appreciate the support.
Absolutely. Yeah. And fingers crossed I could get a Horizon part at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man.
So
We've got a few of them, so
heck yeah. All right, should we move on to the main event, and where I'd let Mantine have the floor very early on because I know Mantine's got something he's gonna want to say here. So
Mantine, do you have any opinions on this fight, or
might as well let you talk about that before I let you do your thing with the
before
main
you
event.
go off on?
I just showed up. I've always loved Horizon as a concept, and I've watched the smaller ones fight in HRL, and they're really entertaining. And I was interested in how it was going to scale up, and I just got here, and I'm not sure if what was going on in this fight, if you guys had any problems or whatever that may be.
Yeah, the problems were mentioned.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah.
I mean.
Basically, you will see an improved Horizon for next fight.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. Because I love this singing concept, man. It's so neat. There's nothing in the world like it. I mean, it's like one of those like huge type things where it's kind of like, you know, maybe this is something that, yeah, like what do you do, you know? And I really like those kind of like out of the box, cool, kind of wacky designs that just bring diversity to the table of BattleBots, and I really hope I get to see some good Horizon this season. I really hope you guys get to really show off what Horizon can do, because I've seen what it does in the lower light classes, and it's been really entertaining there. So I have faith that y'all can get it going.
Absolutely.
You will see good Horizon. I can promise you that.
That's good. That's good. Okay, I'm excited.
Anything else?
Do we want to move on to the main event?
Yeah, let's do it.
AKA.
All right, go, Mantine.
Highlighters.
Pop off.
God, I'm gonna cook Whiplash here. All right, so Whiplash, the God fucking bless the 0-2 Whiplash, that highlighter, Sharpie highlighter green vomit-looking motherfucker finally lost 2 in a row. It's finally over. The reign's finally over. The steel reign's finally over.
Calm down.
It didn't work. It didn't work again. It was more than a one fight.
Oh my
it didn't work
gosh.
again. It's like it's fucking Christmas. This fight was like Christmas. Quantum worked. Whiplash didn't. The fucking stars aligned. It was like a summer solstice. It was like I was looking at a solar eclipse. The stars aligned. It was amazing. Fucking Whiplash got trashed. Spit its own guts out. Oh man.
Jeez, I knew Mantine was gonna go after Whiplash like that. I did not think you were gonna go that hardcore.
I did not expect anything less.
Fucking highlighter of green ass shit.
Highlighter green. F off, dude.
Yeah. The other one proved it was better though.
One highlighter's better than the other.
Yeah, one has some sort of semblance of theme. The other one is just black and highlighter. At least Whiplash has at least Hypershock has some neon, and it actually does things.
Wow.
The four-wheel drive
It should go back. It should go back to the red setup because its guts were just hanging out during that fight.
You put some respect on Whiplash's name, man.
I'll defend Whiplash soon.
Okay.
Look, you guys. You guys may live. I know the truth. I know it's just a heavyweight salad. I can. You could see it. Look at it. It's a 4-wheel drive box. It's salad. Wake up.
Oh my gosh.
I
Wake up,
will
people.
say, I really enjoyed the pacing of this episode because like after the Shred It Bro Horizon fight, then man, you were gonna be so hyped for that main event.
It was quite literally whiplash with how like exciting that fight with the main event was. It was quite literally whiplash.
They built up the tension. It was like, oh man, that was okay. What? Oh!
Oh, also, I forgot to say it, but this is my obligatory. Fuck you, Whiplash. All right, I'm going. I'll see you guys later.
Jeez, there's so much spitting going on this episode.
It all comes. It's only Mantine who does that.
No, it's only when Whiplash loses. Everybody else is okay. Whiplash gotta get a little bit of.
Okay,
Buy him
Manatee.
dinner first.
Yeah.
I thought about it.
At least take it out.
Yeah, as you
Maddie
can see,
Vasquez-
Mantine is not a fan of Whiplash.
If
So,
Maddie Vasquez wants to go to dinner with me, I will. Maddie, if you're watching this, Matt Vasquez, I got you, man.
yeah.
What about Boyd?
Yeah, go ahead, man. This is just open
That was
invitation. Open
That was
invitation.
sweet, man.
Yeah, everybody can come.
What is going on?
Dinner's on me.
I don't know.
I think Mantine just asked Matt out on a date.
If you're interested.
Goddamn right.
I would
Wow.
like to derail this conversation. Can I do that, please?
Go ahead.
No.
I feel like it
Mr.
should be Will Bales buying him dinner, especially after he fucked Whiplash so hard.
Oh my gosh.
You're making me choke, man. Wow, Mr. Manatee, I got it. Let me. Manatee, whatever.
Mantine.
Okay. So this fight was, it was kind of. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh my gosh.
I had to cook.
I think Smurf died of
You
laughter.
know what?
Okay.
I'm glad that you cooked. That was amazing.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mana, whatever your name is. That's great to hear. Wait, what was I saying? Oh, right, the fight. Wait. It was quite back and forth a bit at the start, and apparently one of Hypershock's weapon chains got jammed, caused the weapon to stop spinning until they freed it, I think by bumping into the shelf. And then they just went, like, there was like a switch at midpoint during the fight, like they flipped back over, they're kind of dodging around trying to get a position, and Hypershock kind of got stuck under a door. That's like Hypershock. And then, like, I think the team noticed that one of the team members for Hypershock used the pulverizer to hold Whiplash in place while Hypershock figured itself out. And then they were just on top of Whiplash for the rest of the fight. And then they pulled off a near perfect replica of their own loss to Bite Force back in Season 3. Remember when they went disemboweled going and just they did the exact same thing, but now they're Bite Force or something.
Ooh.
I'm still reeling from the thing that happened earlier.
What happened with
He was
Captain
all
Mantine?
up in
I'm
his
used
guts.
to this at this point.
Yeah.
He was just all up in his guts.
Boom.
I will say this fight goes to Whiplash if Whiplash continues to have the ground game and the control that it did in the first minute. Like there's no way you could convince me if Whiplash like somehow loses that fight if they keep on the control that they did the first minute. Really quite a comeback, and it's very interesting to see the fact that that the guts came out, like from what I took from it, the guts came out of the side of the robot, it came out on the side. It didn't come from under the robot. It didn't come over the robot, like from the top panel or the bottom panel. It came from the side, which is very interesting to me. Something like that hasn't really been replicated since the radioactive fight against Tombstone. So, or just any fights that Tombstone had in season 1, but it was a great fight all around though.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some enjoyment out of this one too, and what I will just say right off the bat is like if any robot was to come out 0 and 2, one of the robots I would be least expecting for that is Whiplash, and this is even coming
Whiplash.
from somebody who predicted against Whiplash for both fights that they've had so far. Like it's not normal, at least to me and to probably many others, to see Whiplash in a spot like this right there. I'm sure it's not the same for Mantine, but yeah, I know. For most of us, like lots of us probably just did not expect that. Just knowing Whiplash is one of many teams that could, in a way, be like overdue to win the giant nut, kind of. Especially after Whiplash was that close, has been that close a couple times. So yeah, but then obviously Hypershock. Hats off to Will Bales for taking advantage of the fact that they definitely have a more damaging weapon between the two of them. But it was great to see Whiplash get some moments in this fight, at least, because they did get the early flip. And yeah, once they got right side up, it was pretty much like all hell breaks loose from Hypershock, kind of. And yeah, and it was just a masterclass from Hypershock. Shame that Whiplash is seems to be a bit short staffed this year, especially with Jason Vasquez not being there this season. And yeah, it sounds like Rory from Monsoon and also Team Nuts, if you're a Robot Wars fan. Based on what I was seeing from, I think a post that Monsoon actually posted today, it sounds like they were helping Whiplash out, including they actually fight each other for the and later on. So should be exciting. So
Well, yeah, Rory this season was just an incredible help in the pits from because he's one of the few people that knows how to tune Vesks.
yeah,
And so he was a really huge help for everybody that was going to brushless, because like this was the year that a lot of people went to brushless. Like Witch Doctor went to brushless, Whiplash went to brushless. A lot of people who had gone brushed in the past have gone brushless now, and there are once again teething issues. But I don't have as much of a hatred for Whiplash as Mantine.
there he goes
Jesus
again.
God, there's so much
Muted his
spitting.
mic just for that.
Wow, I mean, honestly, based.
Yeah.
But I've always been a fan of Whiplash, and I've always been a fan of Matt's driving. I really love the honestly very unique lifter spinner setup. I think that has its merits, and once again, when it comes to like unique designs, the person driving it always is sort of the make or break behind it, and Matt is so good at driving that robot.
Absolutely.
Like you said, I think it was BBN earlier who said, if this was, based off the first minute, like Whiplash had it. But, like we saw, Hypershock really got its hits in, and they got them in. They got those hits in really well. And, of all the robots that I would have expected to go 0-2 at this point, absolutely not Whiplash. it just hadn't made sense to me at the time. But also going into the season, Hypershock was kind of my pick to win, especially after their performance at Remars, especially after their performance in the Golden Bolt. I was there for the Hypershock Gigabyte fight. Jesus Lord in heaven, like, oh my God. When that happened, I was like, oh, okay. Hypershock fucks now. And, very clearly we see that, yes, indeed, Hypershock fucks now. Hypershock is a great robot. It hits really hard. It's in the discussion for greatest of all time, in my opinion. And after
it
this,
needs to win first. It needs to win first.
Well, yeah, but it's doing that a lot more lately.
Yeah,
right.
It's doing that a lot more.
Win a championship.
Oh yeah, but you can argue that Witch Doctor is one of the greatest of all time, even though it hasn't won a Battlebots yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So like, apples to whatever. The point that I'm making here is, like, if there was anybody that could have made Whiplash go 0-2, it would have been Hypershock. This was not an easy fight for either of these machines, and someone had to come out on top, and unfortunately, that was Hypershock. Well, unfortunately for Whiplash, it was Hypershock. And I guess sort of, fortunately for the one who thought Hypershock would win the whole thing, I guess it's kind of great. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, we could probably talk about their next opponents quick. So Hypershock has a rematch with Endgame coming for their next fight, and Whiplash has Monsoon for their next fight.
Let's go Monsoon! Woo-hoo.
Oh, hey! I know them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mantine.
Yes.
Considering you don't like Whiplash because of the color scheme, you'd probably hate this.
It's not necessarily the color scheme. It's just that it is a featureless black box that has high retina burning fucking neon green highlighter.
Oh,
Skin.
my robot has a face
I will point out the thing that Captain Mantine put in the chat. In all seriousness, I have a ton of respect for Matt and his driving abilities. Just wish the paint scheme wasn't such an eyesore and it had some sort of
Alright, he's muted.
theme
it's only muted
or
for me.
nice
No,
look.
I don't have
It's
perms.
boring
What the fuck?
and it doesn't
This
quite
is so
have
rigged.
the huge wins to
No
back
way.
it up. It's high status. I really it's really solid, but I think it's a bit overrated.
This is fake news.
Oh my gosh.
It's the liberal media or something, whatever they say these days.
Also, you want something that burnt.
Is somebody reacting to the liberal media?
I think our guest doesn't understand what interacting with the Captain Mantine means.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a harrowing experience for many.
Also,
It is terrifying.
It's horrifying. I know. Trust me.
if you
Yeah.
want something that burns I have something that can burn your soul.
No, not my retinas though. Like Whiplash.
Feel fear, because
Hey guys, did you know he built a robot?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll
People
talk.
should do this, by the way.
I'll talk about their next opponents quick. So, Hypershock and Endgame. If they go head on, I think Endgame wins easily right there, similar to last time. I think what Hypershock needs to do is use their speed advantage and outmaneuver Endgame, which is going to be a difficult task because Jack is another great driver, and lots of robots have tried that strategy, and it hasn't worked out so well for most of them. Whiplash being one of the robots that tried that, when they fought Endgame a couple seasons ago in that championship fight. That was their strategy: try to avoid the front and outmaneuver Endgame, and Endgame managed to get the shots they needed to win that fight and take home the giant nut. So I'm going Endgame on this one, but that's probably what Hypershock needs to do to win that fight. Whiplash and Monsoon, definitely Whiplash is in a little bit of a hole right here, even though the strength of schedule is definitely there for Whiplash, with Mad Catter and Hypershock being their first two opponents, which are both very hard opponents. And the fact that they have Monsoon next and then Tantrum for their final fight, like, they definitely did not go easy on Whiplash this season. But as for this fight, definitely Matt's driving is going to be very key for this one, because I guarantee if they go head on once again, and Monsoon probably wins that exchange and will probably send Whiplash flying. And I think Whiplash is probably going to need to target the sides, the backside, or something like that. Try to get Monsoon in a position where they're stuck, cut something like that. Basically, just control the fight and try to avoid the weapon as much as they possibly can to win this fight. I'm gonna actually lean towards Whiplash for this fight, because I think Matt's gonna seriously be on his A game for something like this. Because I guarantee Matt's gonna be on his A game for this one, and more than ever, to be sure that Whiplash is ready for this fight. Including, they did mention on social media their vertical spinner hasn't been running at full power so far in either of their first two fights. And I think that's one thing that Rory has been helping Whiplash out with, from the sounds of it, just to be sure the weapon's running in the way they want it to. And hopefully that is the case, because they definitely brought the vertical spinner back for a reason. And hopefully we'll get to see a lot more out of it, especially when it gets into this fight with Monsoon. So both of those fights, I think, should be great matchups. And yeah.
Oh yeah. Luckily for Hypershock, Ripperoni is going to damage Endgame beyond repair, so that should be a pretty easy win for Hypershock.
So yeah, Endgame will forfeit that match.
Yeah, Endgame's going to forfeit actually, because Ripperoni is going to destroy that chassis, and he's actually going to vicariously kill every single Endgame chassis that they brought.
Oh gosh!
Because of the damage that they do to Endgame here. So I'm going to take Hypershock there. And as for Whiplash Monsoon, I don't really think I have to explain who I think is going to win that fight. Jesus is going to win the fight. I agree. God bless Monsoon, so he can take down the heretics.
All praise our Lord and Savior, Hyperblaze.
Hyperblaze, yeah. I think Monsoon.
Hyperblaze for 2023.
In all seriousness, Monsoon, it hit really hard, and Whiplash, other than the wedge, it seems like Whiplash is notoriously frail on the rest of the body. A lot of other verts can take a shot or two to the chassis past the wedge, but Whiplash in particular just seems really frail on its backside and where its flanks are. So if they can't keep that wedge pointed toward Monsoon, it's going to be a real problem. And before I head out, I want to thank our guests for putting up with my bullshit this long. I gotta bounce.
It's great.
Second, but, I really appreciate y'all putting up with my bullshit. I know that
it was very entertaining.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Was this? I feel like this was probably one of the more unhinged episodes.
Yeah.
Par for the course.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Mantine's ever gone that hard in a main podcast, but I know when
he hasn't. He's gone that hard in
power rankings. He has
in power rankings.
Okay.
I was the recipient of that.
Well, either way.
Week.
Yeah, which we'll plan on recording power rankings tomorrow.
Oh
and
boy.
stuff. So
we'll
see how the interesting
power
that
rankings
gets.
tomorrow.
Thank y'all for having me, and thank y'all for putting up with me.
It was fun.
I'm glad.
Yeah, we're a fun group.
Farewell, you chaotic manatee.
I love y'all too. Y'all have a good night, man.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
Peace out.
Peace out.
I
love that.
Yeah, the rest of y'all want to explain your takes on these two matchups?
Okay. This may be the saddest thing that I am going to say but I think it might also be one of the more truthful things I say. Um, take this as well as you want to take this. I think the metagame has caught up to Whiplash. Whiplash had, I mean, the lifter has been able to like do so much that like for Whiplash in these fights. Not saying that it's still a bad scheme, but a lot of the meta is robots that can one hit kill you if they want to. And Whiplash, I mean, Whiplash in these past couple episodes hasn't been able to take those hits. And you look at a robot like Monsoon. How you beat Monsoon is pretty obvious. You somehow get its weapon to stop, and then you put it on to like its weapon where it can't self-right at all. That's how you beat Monsoon. And Whiplash could easily do that. But what happens first? What happens first in that scenario? Does Whiplash take out the the weapon and lift them, or does Monsoon get in a bunch of hits and then Whiplash is done? It's such a sad thing to say, but I think Monsoon has the better shot at beating Whiplash. And
Absolutely.
Whiplash's playoff hopes are done at that point, because when you're 2-2, 0-2, you can become 2-2 and then sneak in a lower seed. Like there's not a lot of wiggle room for a 1-3 seed. If there's a lot of 1-3 seeds, like 2 or 3 of them are gonna get in tops, and then Whiplash probably gets in that way. But if there's not a lot of them, like, and there's a lot of 2-2 seeds, I don't see Whiplash going far if it loses to Monsoon. Endgame versus Hypershock is going to be such an interesting fight. I mean, they did fight before, but that's not the same Hypershock. Um, from what was it? It was season 5 when they fought, right?
Yeah, 2020,
Was.
which I believe is season
Yes.
5.
Yeah, it was
God, that was
2020. And then
that was the
they
problem
took
season.
that was the problem season. And Hypershock has taken so many strides to become like an incredible robot. Um but Whiplash is my number 1 on my power ranking for a reason.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
is the perfect combination of driving, reliability, and power that I can think of in this game in the this competition. So I can't reasonably bet against Endgame.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Endgame's definitely been. Endgame won the Giant Nut for a reason. They won the Golden Bolt for a reason, and
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
definitely one did not underestimate. I know. Personally, in my opinion, I was shocked that we didn't see Endgame and Riptide taking on each other on the qualifying schedules, just because like one of the most dangerous vertical spinners versus one of the most dangerous drum spinners, and like yeah, regardless, your point is like exactly correct, BBBN, and yeah, it'll
Which
be
one?
in well on that like end game being at the top spot for a reason, kind of,
Okay.
and yeah, just end game's not one to underestimate and everything. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see Endgame's fight with Ripperoni coming soon. So
Yes. That's going to be an interesting fight, but
yeah,
Hypershock Endgame, uh, you know, like you said, Endgame is, you know, won the nut for a reason. It's won the bolt for a reason. Endgame is, you know, one of the best of all time. That is not a question. Uh, uh, this is going to be a difficult fight for Hypershock. As much as it pains me to say that, uh, Endgame is, even though even though, you know, they fell out early in the tournament last year, they still went undefeated in all of their fights. In the fight nights last year, they still won the Bolt last year. Uh, Endgame is, turning into, something of an end boss for a lot of robots. And when it just kind of comes down to it, it's an uphill battle for Will. Will's an incredible driver, but, Jack and Nick, they have that machine dialed down to an absolute science.
Yes.
When it comes to Whiplash and Monsoon, Whiplash, currently being at 0-2, they have a lot to prove. I know that Matt is going to, up his game even more. And I mean, his losses this season so far haven't been bad losses. They've been well fought losses. His loss against Mad Catter, that's a fight that we see in the West like a lot. Calvin Eba and Matthew Vasquez, like that's something that you see at like small insect tournaments. But like at this level, it's also an incredible fight. Who would have thought?
Absolutely.
And Whiplash versus Will Bales, it's like Matt versus Will. It's once again an incredible fight. This next fight, it's going to be more of the same. Tom is an incredible driver, and it won't be an easy fight for either of them. It won't be an easy fight for Matt, especially given how many verts he's fought this season.
Yes. And then he's got 2 more verts for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, he's just vert. Like they're giving him verts because, because like that's like a lot of the main event scene at the moment. It's great verts. You can see my cat in the background. Hi. This fight in particular is going to come down to who has a better driving day, in my opinion.
Absolutely, I would totally agree with that.
And if there's anything I would say to Tom, it's, watch out for Matt when his back is against the wall.
Yeah, definitely, because just take Whiplash in 2020. He how it started off with the brutal loss to Sawblaze, and then Matt just went on an absolute spree with his driving ability, taking out Gruff, Valkyrie twice in a row, and even stronger driving performance against Huge, and he literally comes out of nowhere like that, and
yeah, like when Matt's backed into a corner, that's when he's at his most dangerous, and I think that we're gonna see one hell of a fight.
Yeah, I would totally agree. Yeah, everybody got to talk about these 2 matchups, I think.
Not me.
Oh, you go ahead.
I don't really have much to say. I'm a man of few words. Hypershock Endgame. It really depends on which Endgame and which Hypershock show up to the fight, and just sort of depends on how they drive, what fork setups they use, who gets around what, who gets the first hit. It's really a coin flip, to be honest. Either one of these bots could win. Whiplash Monsoon. Ooh. Depends again on whether Whiplash can get their motor issues and brushlessness sorted out. If they can, they probably have a good chance of winning this fight. It probably last, I think, 3 minutes, or it'd be quite close. until it isn't close. That's how I feel like the fight would go if Whiplash works. But if Whiplash isn't really working, it's just Mantine will probably take this. Again, it really just depends on minor details.
Absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt. So, anything else to say about this or the episode? Or should we close out the podcast?
I think this episode overall, I saw a lot of people say that this is one of the weaker episodes of the season so far, and
Yep, I have as
I
well.
I think I think a lot of people need to not curb their expectations, but give builders a chance to fail. Uh, Not everyone's going to come out of the gate swinging all of the time. Not every judge's decision or every win is going to be a great quality win. Sometimes flukes happen. Sometimes, fights don't go the way that you think. But that doesn't mean that this episode was a bad episode at all. I think it was a fantastic episode for what it was and for the fights that it had. Uh, there are certainly worse fights that could have happened, and I think the cold open was great. I loved the cold opens back in season 3. I was hoping that we would be able to see just something other than straight fight, straight fight, straight fight, straight fight, and just like nothing else building on the fun of this competition. Uh, because BattleBots is fun.
Yep.
Believe it or not, you guys, it's fun. uh, and I think that the episodes will only keep getting better because there are so many fights that are just going to be so friggin' good. And just you guys wait.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because like I've heard good things from like Civilian Arc who attended it live, and yeah, I know Spin Doctor has also said some good things about it too, who also attended it live, and they said some of the best fights are on the way at least, and
oh yes,
yeah, I suspect.
oh yes,
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see like even though some of these fights might have been like lower quality than like some of the higher fights we saw in like the first few episodes, like definitely lots of teams are going to rebound from a lot of this stuff, like Horizon being an example of that, because like yeah, because like I know a lot of people were not exactly fond of like the entertainment value of like Horizon and Shredded Bro, but like both those robots had some first round gremlins, and we'll see both of them bounce back and hopefully see like a really competitive showdown. Like Alex has been hinting that Horizon's got some really good fights coming, and which I totally believe. So it should be great regardless. So
exactly, man.
yeah. So anything else from BBN or Derin?
Nope. Good
Um,
episode.
yeah, solid episode. I don't know why people are complaining. This episode was great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people just need to stop complaining.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, we'll go ahead and close out this podcast. So thanks for watching this long podcast. It was a great time.
Long.
Oh yeah, it was a great time. Be sure to like and subscribe to the video and check out everyone's YouTube channels, which will be linked down below, as well as Horizon's social media information and like Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that. Yeah, you definitely check that out. They do a lot of posting, especially on Insta and Facebook. I think it'd be worthwhile checking all that stuff out. Horizons. They've mentioned a couple times on social media that there'll be a video coming this week, including Alex mentioned that during this podcast. Yeah, thanks for coming once again, and Alex, and talking
Thank you
with
for
us about
having
this
me.
episode. It was
fun.
it was absolutely great having you on once again, and knowing that you and the rest of the team were on for the newcomer podcast earlier on, and yeah,
I had a lot of fun. It was really great. Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on again
Would love to be on again.
We'd absolutely love to have you on again in the future. So
Excellent.
yeah, once again, everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next podcast.